Popped it up. Got to have one.
I don't think he did it.
He did not do it.
Oh, my.
Vlad Guerrero Jr. will hang on and win the 2023 T-Mobile Home Run Derby.
Let's get nasty on a Tuesday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. 202. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Well, we told you. We told you it was either going to be Vladimir Guerrero Jr. or Adley Rutschman of the Baltimore Orioles to win the home run derby. That's because we decided in our home run picks to each choose two guys. That left two holdovers, one being Rutschman, the other one being Vlad.
I picked
Who won it
Rutschman
last night? No, you didn't.
with my second guy.
No, you didn't. Mookie Betts was your second.
Yeah,
guy.
Mookie Betts.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Oh, you're right, because I went home and he hit like 27 home runs, and I go, I wish I would have picked that guy.
There you go.
Well, then he hit half of them from the other side, too.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was a pretty cool moment.
That was impressive, to say the least.
He switches, and then his first one's a jack. Bam.
Yeah, here you go.
Dad pitching to him.
Yes, that was
Like
neat. That was one of the many cool moments of last night's home run derby. I think the other one was Randy Arozarena kind of stealing the show.
What? I thought J-Rod stole it.
J-Rod
41 dingers in one round.
was awesome, too. 2 years in a row, J-Rod put on a show. It's too bad that he plays for Seattle, so nobody gets to see him.
That's a really good point, Anthony.
Except for this week, the All-Star game.
He can hit the ball, though.
It's not fair. That's really not fair either. But
Which part?
about like the West Coast guys, you don't see them that much. But it's true. You're not watching Julio Rodriguez after you watch your Cardinals.
Speak for yourself. I tune in all the time.
How many Mariners games? I'm going to give you the over/under of 0.5.
Honestly, how many? What's the criteria?
How many Mariners games have you watched start to finish this year?
Not.
Okay,
one.
there we go.
I'll go with
That's
3.
it. Yeah, you've seen 3?
Yeah, they took on the Cardinals earlier this year.
Son of a... When they're not playing the Cardinals.
Anthony, stop.
Goose egg?
Stop getting into the numbers.
Bagel loan for you?
Bagel loan.
There
Back
you go.
alone.
All
Call
right.
our guy Stewie.
So, of course, the All-Star game, not just the Home Run Derby, but the All-Star game has, I don't know, plenty of connections to the Cardinals, guys.
Why would you say that, Anthony? We only had one guy there.
Glad you asked, Jamie. Yeah, Nolan Arenado is your only representative this year. That makes sense. You've had a pretty rough year. You got to send somebody. So, congratulations, Nolan Arenado. Now, Adolis Garcia. You had him at one point. Now he's a Ranger after they tried to get rid of him initially.
They did, Anthony, so shame on them.
Yeah. Randy Arozarena, of course. You traded him in the Jose Martinez deal
That's right. That is correct.
for Matthew Liberatore. Zach Allen. He's going to start tonight for the National League All-Stars. You had him as well in the Marcell Ozuna deal. He went to Miami. Gave up Sandy Alcantara, too. That hurts.
One wasn't enough.
Nope. Now, the players that the Cardinals have been connected to that weren't actually Cardinals, and there's some loose connections, but connections nonetheless. They being Luis Robert, who Bill DeWitt told Bernie on the Bernie Michaelis show at one point that, boy, it's a lot of money to pay somebody who you don't know if he's going to be a star.
You're just not sure.
Now he's an all-star.
Did you see him hitting
He's a monster.
that first round? He kind of was like, meh, and then he just started wham, wham, wham.
Got in a rhythm.
Almost effortless. Out of all the guys hitting, he looked like at the end of it, he could have gone another minute and a half. He just had this effortless, and the ball was just flying, Anthony.
Mm-hmm. He's got everything. He's got power. He's got speed. He's
Charming.
hit for it's charming, handsome as ever.
Great accent.
That Luis Robert. Great player. Wish you had him. Sean Murphy. Cardinals reportedly didn't like the asking price.
It was pretty steep.
What was it?
Well, I don't know, but they say it was pretty steep.
Didn't want to give up Lars Nootbaar, you know?
Actually, you're right. I think that was the cog that was like,
It may have been more than that.
well, it was
might have
more
been-
than that, but I think that's the one the Cardinals were like,
Yeah.
whoa, you
Oh.
can't have our Newt.
This
That's
guy,
our Newt.
he's going to sell a lot of pepper grinders for us, so we're going to need him in the outfield sometimes. Sean Murphy, you
By
decided.
the way, At what point during the second half of the season, when things are going really bad, do the Cardinals have Pepper Grinder for the first 20,000 fans? The Newt Bar Grinder.
The Newt Bar Grinder.
Called the Newt Grinder.
They're like, hey, we need to manufacture a lot of these pepper grinders, and we need to do so stat.
Yeah.
So Sean Murphy, again, he's with Atlanta now. He's an all-star. Juan Soto, you were never going to meet the asking price that Washington was asking for. But Juan Soto, you were kind of, sort of, somewhat connected to. Zach Gallen, we mentioned he's going to be starting tonight. And then Marcus Stroman reportedly wanted to play for the Cardinals before he signed with the Cubs. He, too, is an all-star. And he's...
How do we know he said that?
I don't know.
So I did a little digging.
Did he really say it?
He
kind of hint around it.
There was a tweet. He deleted it, but Cardinal fans had like a hashtag going. Can't remember verbatim what the hashtag was, but it was basically to get Marcus Stroman to St. Louis, and it never happened.
No, they didn't want it bad enough. That's your fault, St. Louis.
Okay, so what are the? I saw Derek Gould post this question. I think it's perfect. So what are the lessons here? As we're watching the Home Run Derby last night, we're watching the All-Star Game tonight. Knowing that you gave up Adolis Garcia. So Garcia, Arozarena, Gallen, all in your organization, loosely connected to Robert, Murphy, Soto, and Stroman. What's the lesson that should be learned here? Is it aggressiveness? Is it holding on, actually doing a better job of holding on to your prospects? What do you think?
I think it's probably recognition of players that you're still holding on to rather than giving opportunity to young players that you thought highly of. Mm-hmm. So in the case of most of these guys, there were roadblocks in the way. Who were those roadblocks? I'd have to go back and take a look, but...
Arozarena, it'd be Tyler O'Neill, Harrison Bader, eventually Dylan Carlson, because you projected him to hit well.
So when you look at it that way, you know... It's so hard now. In hindsight, you're looking at, well, I would have given up any one of those guys for Randy Arozarena. But what were Randy Arozarena's numbers like at that moment in the like AAA? Were they blowing you out of the water?
He was good.
But was he great?
He was pretty damn good.
Did he project to be better than Tyler O'Neill? Because you had a Tyler O'Neill that's a 5-tool player. Mm-hmm. When he's healthy, Randy's right. I get it.
He was like one of the better hitters in all of AAA.
Yeah,
not just with the
Tyler
Cardinals.
O'Neill, who was an MVP candidate the one season, which is the season after Arozarena broke out. So they're in and around the same time period, and you had one guy that ruled the playoffs in Arozarena, then the next guy, O'Neill, the next season, like absolutely raked that year. Mm-hmm. So you're sitting there as a manager or a general manager going, tomato on this, because they're both physically fit, strong guys. They both run fast. They both got pop.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a weird concept to have two of those guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It would be kind of weird.
You picked the wrong door ultimately, but
why
I'm
can't
just
you
saying.
have both doors?
You could.
Go through one door?
Well, we also talk about giving enough playing time, though, too, right? So there's only 3 outfield spots. And we're saying, why didn't you give enough time for Randy Arozarena? Because the Cardinals, this, to me, the Randy Arozarena deal is, and I said it at the time, this isn't revisionist history here. This is, I said it at the time, this is going to be more about Harrison Bader, Tyler O'Neill, and Dylan Carlson, and less about Matthew Liberatore, because they decided to part with Randy Arozarena because they like those guys better. You could say the same thing about Adolis Garcia, and you can also say the same thing about Zach Wheeler, who the Mets reportedly were willing to give you at that deadline, 4 or 5 years ago, for either O'Neill or Bader, and you balked at that. Now, I realize why you balked at it, because Wheeler was a free agent, so he was a rental. But the Cardinals were so infatuated with Harrison Bader and Tyler O'Neill and Dylan Carlson that it either prevented them from making moves like Zach Wheeler or allowed them to make moves like a Randy Arozarena or Adolis Garcia. To me, these names are about the misevaluation, not necessarily of those guys, but of Tyler O'Neill, Harrison Bader, and we'll see on Dylan Carlson.
And Dexter Fowler was in the mix there too, wasn't he still?
Which was a mistake as well.
I understand, but that was my
I think it's a great-
roadblock
yeah, I think
that
it's a
I'm
good
talking
point.
about. You've got a veteran guy making big money. He's going to play over Randy Arozarena.
You're right. They had to have him. And what do we talk about with teams? Don't be in a position where you go into free agency and you absolutely positively have to have something, because it winds up costing you not only what it cost you in terms of the dollar amount, but also the years. You gave Fowler another year to sweeten the pot, make sure you got him, and then he didn't pan out. The money was spent. The extra year may have prevented you from, trading him earlier than you did, and it also blocked some of these other guys that obviously panned out. Now, would Randy Arozarena have panned out here? I don't know. Garcia? I don't know.
Well, Garcia,
we'll never know.
In fairness to the Cardinals, when it comes to Garcia,
The Rangers DFA'd
He
him,
didn't leave here and light the world on fire.
Right.
Like, he got DFA'd by the Rangers, and then they decided, well, we'll sign him again. And then after that is kind of when he hit his stride, and now he's an all-star. But to the Cardinals' defense regarding that particular player, he hadn't developed enough at that point, and Texas felt the exact same way.
So what about Zach Gallen? Somebody tweeted out something today, and fair warning here. It was kind of in defense of Mo, and I thought it was an absolutely brilliant point. And when I pitched it to Marsh and Jamie, they both had the same reaction. Yeah, that's a good point. We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
make no mistake, Randy Arozarena was traded because I recorded the energetic speech given by the head baseball coach at that time. Front office will deny it all they want, but the conspiracy theorists know what really happened.
All right, that was Brad leaving us a mic drop. You can do the same throughout the course of the show. Anything we're talking about, if you want to reach out to us, fantastic. You leave us a mic drop via the 101 ESPN app or text us. The Air Commerce Service text line is 314-399-9646, and you can find us on YouTube as well. Our channel is at 101 ESPN STL, and we appreciate everybody flocking to the YouTube channel and not only checking us out, but also leaving comments throughout the course of the show. With Jamie Rivers and Andrew Marsh, I'm Anthony Stalter. One quick note on that, what Brad is talking about, and I don't know if Brad is saying it slightly tongue-in-cheek or he fully means that the Cardinals sought out a trade because Randy Arozarena infamously, thank you, Jamie, had that video going with Mike Schilt.
Yeah.
I don't buy that. I think what really happened was the Rays fleeced you. The Rays picked your pocket. Their scouting on Randy Arozarena was outstanding. Perhaps their scouting on Matthew Liberatore was also outstanding. Now, did the Cardinals say to themselves, well, we're more apt to trade him because we didn't love the video? Sure. But I would put that 2 or 3 as opposed to the number one reason. I don't think they sought out a trade because he had posted that live video.
No, but I think if it was a tiebreaker between him and Tyler O'Neill, let's say it was, and you're looking at Tyler O'Neill, who on the surface looks like he's very professional, right, dialed in, Mr. Serious, Mr. Cardinal, for that matter. Mm-hmm. And then you're looking at Randy Arozarena, who he's electric. I mean, I love watching the guy. He's electric, but then he also made a bad decision releasing a clubhouse video, which, again, I thought was to the advantage of Mike Schilt and the Cardinals. It showed a little bit of spice in there. But if you're looking at that as the tiebreaker, you go, okay, both of these players, they have very, very similar skill sets.
Right.
This one here seems to be a professional, just puts his head down and goes to work. We like that. That's the Cardinal way. This one here, he's releasing videos from inside the clubhouse.
Right.
Okay, we'll give you a Arozarena. So if it was something like that, I could see that being the tiebreaker.
Or maybe there wasn't a lot of pushback because of that. Because the Rays would have wanted Tyler O'Neill. And I don't think they did. I think they had their sights set on Randy Arozarena.
Yeah,
or we talked about that at the time.
Or they saw the abilities in both players, but then pushed because they saw something extra in Arozarena. Sure. I don't know. Obviously, they had a pretty good view of it. Seems to be doing okay for himself, Anthony.
I would say so.
If a team like the Rays, they have a track record for finding certain players. If they come to you asking for a certain player,
you punched them in the face.
Yeah, shouldn't you be
get
like,
the hell out of my room?
Maybe they're onto something.
He's going to hang up.
Yeah. Actually, you call them. Here's what I would do if I was John Mozeliak, okay? Is once a year, I would call the Tampa Bay Rays and say, hey, listen, we're looking to shake things up here in Cardinal Nation. Who are you interested in? Mm-hmm. What player here, what of our young guys are you interested in, or prospects, or whatever? Because, we're looking to maybe get some veteran guys, or not sure, moving in a different direction. And whoever they bring up, you walk over across the hall and you give that guy a contract extension and keep him here and promote him.
Exactly.
It's like, whatever they want you for, I don't know what it is, but they seem to know what the hell they're talking about.
Well, let me think about it, all right? Hang up the phone. Hey, promote him immediately. I know he's in Peoria. Get him up here.
He's in Peoria. I don't care.
Sit and clean up tonight. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Scott Singer, who is a Cardinals fan, St. Louis fan, he tweeted this out. I happened to see it, and I think this is a great point when it comes to all of this rage with John Mozeliak. And look, we've had it too. We have slung arrows at the Cardinals front office. We have slung our arrows. We have been very snarky at times. We've been very direct when it comes to the missteps of John Mozeliak. All right, it's just me, I guess. But Scott, I thought brings up an excellent point, and it reminds me of the push and pull that we get from within the Cardinals fan base, because they're split. Here's the tweet that Scott said. He goes, imagine Mo telling us in 2017 he didn't trade for Marcell Ozuna and his 37 home runs and 124 RBI to help our bad offense because he didn't want to give up our 20th ranked prospect, Zach Gallen. Do you tar and feather Mo then or wait a day? You're doing one for sure. He continued. He said, now imagine Mo telling us he turned down acquiring Jesus Luzardo from Miami this coming winter because he didn't want to trade Max Rasick. In 2017, we needed a power hitter as bad as we needed a top of the rotation arm now. You can't keep criticizing this trade. Mo tried to win. He's absolutely right. We're all operating like in hindsight with that. He's right. If they, Jamie, we're doing radio in 2017, you and I.
Yeah.
And Giancarlo Stanton told you, thank you, but no thank you. Then the Marlins said, thank you, but no thank you for Christian Yelich, which is what happened. And then it was, but we got Marcell Ozuna. And the Cardinals said, no thank you, we're just going to keep our prospects. What are people saying?
Well, it's not that you're just going to keep your prospects. It's when you break it down to Zach Gallen was your 20th, your number 20 prospect. At that point, as the Cardinals, you are truly believing that you're doing the fleecing.
Right. Now, Sandy Alcantara is also
Alcantara, but Sandy Alcantara was an established prospect, we'll call it. He was like right on the verge.
He's the type of player.
He's the tweener. He's the 4A guy that you're talking about.
He's the type of player I want the Cardinals to acquire at this year's deadline.
So that's where I was like, okay, Sandy Alcantara, Marcell Ozuna, and all you had to do was throw in Zach Gallen, a number 20 prospect. At that point, as the Cardinals, you're feeling pretty good about the trade. Mm-hmm. You're getting an established power bat, a Gold Glover.
Right.
I mean, he was.
It's laughable now, but yes.
It's laughable now, but at the time, this is part of his resume. And so you're like, okay, yeah, this is a great deal. We got that middle-of-the-order bat. We gave up what could potentially be a really good pitcher in Alcantara. And, well, who knows with Zach Gallen. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we didn't know that both of them were going to be friggin' Cy Young winners at some point.
Miami didn't know what they had because they traded him to Arizona.
It's a good point.
They could have had Sandy Alcantara and Zach Gallen and Jesus Luzardo and Eury Perez. They could be absolute Pablo Lopez at
Maybe
the time.
They keep him.
Maybe they keep him. They didn't know what they had. It's like Texas with Garcia. I think this is an outstanding point. We operate, of course, in hindsight. We also know what has happened since then. It wasn't just that trade. It did start everything. You look at where the pitching staff is now, it was the start. But as we've also mentioned, Jack Flaherty was your first-round pick in, 2014? Gets injured, doesn't become the ace that you thought he was going to be. Jake Woodford, you missed on. Dakota Hudson, you missed on. These are first-round picks that you all... It's not just one thing. It's a picture that you create as you look back at why the Cardinals are struggling right now, so much so with their pitching. But I thought this was just an outstanding point. And hindsight is 2020. And had we not seen the Cardinals acquire somebody like Ozuna, knowing how bad the offense was and in need of that 1-2 combination with Paul Goldschmidt, who you acquired in the previous offseason, people would be saying, well, you protect your prospects too much, Cardinals.
Who was their pitching staff when they made that trade? Because I'm curious.
In 2017?
I can't remember off the top of my head, like everybody that was in the rotation. But the rotation had to have been pretty good if you're willing to move on from what would be your top pitching prospect.
Off the top of my head, it was probably some combination of Wainwright, Lance Lynn, Jaime Garcia, Jake Westbrook maybe was still in there.
So they missed the playoffs in 2018.
So your pitching staff, I'll tell you who got the most starts. Here we go. Let's see here. Game starts. Whoa, sorry, guys. Okay, Carlos Martinez, Lance Lynn, Michael Wacha, Mike Leake, and Wainwright.
I mean, it's a pretty good staff when you just look at it like on paper. I mean, Carlos Martinez was like supposed to be this upcoming star.
So these are the ERAs of those 5 pitchers in 2017. All of them made at least 30 starts, except for Leake, who made 26, and Waino, who only made 24. Martinez had a 3.64 ERA. Lance Lynn had a 3.43 ERA. Michael Walker, a respectable 4.13. Mike Leake, 4.21, and then Waino had a 5.11. Only Wainwright had an ERA that was, we'll just call it unacceptable from a starting pitching standpoint. So, yeah, you did have some good starting pitching. What you didn't have, again, was that middle-of-the-order presence. And
but, a lot of that surrounds the Oscar Tavares thing. Like, there are a lot of things that go into this one big mistake. It wasn't just like, hey, Mo woke up one morning going, you know what? I want to give up two of the best pitching prospects baseball's going to have for a long time.
Yeah, you were concentrating on pitchers in the draft, like you said, the tragic passing of Oscar Tavares, and it led you down a path of saying we have to revamp. That's how you get Nolan Gorman. That's how you wind up drafting Jordan Walker and Mason Wynn. The draft philosophy is on the verge, I'll say, of working. But do you have to pivot again now when it comes to your pitching? What's interesting is that Mo, according to Martin Kilcoyne, is going to speak tonight after the All-Star break, or at least they're going to release a video of Mo possibly admitting some mistakes, talking about the future of the organization.
Well, we think he's going to.
That's our question. What do you want Mo to say tonight? Leave us a mic drop. What do you want Mo to say tonight? If he's going to talk about going back into history and then going forward with this team, what do you want him to say tonight? What do you want to hear? We'll tell you what we want to hear next on 101 ESPN.
Be patient.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Vlad Guerrero Jr. defeats Randy Arozarena in the Home Run Derby final last night, 25 home runs to 23, joining his dad as the only father-son duo to win the title. All-Star Game festivities continue tonight. You can catch it right here on 101 ESPN. Pre-game starts at 6 o'clock. City SC taking on LAFC tomorrow. Start time is at 9:30. We have our mic drop theme of the day. What is it that you want Mo to say as he sits down with Martin Kilcoyne of Fox 2? You can leave us a mic drop or text us to the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. That's all coming your way next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
To be honest, I don't want to hear Mo say anything. It's like listening to any politician speak. They're just going to talk and talk and talk. I just want to see results.
Charles Austin leaving us a mic drop, and you can leave us a mic drop as well. We'll play it throughout the course of the show today. It's kind of a theme, if you would. Tonight after the All-Star Game, according to Martin Kilcoyne, at Martin Kilcoyne 2, he tweeted this out earlier this morning. He said, tonight after the All-Star Game, John Mozeliak on the mistakes made, fan frustration with the franchise, and anger directed at him. And it's an exclusive on Fox 2 tonight. So we're interested to hear what John Mozeliak says, or if Austin is right, and it's more of a kind of a politician move. So we're taking mic drops from you, asking what you want to hear out of Mo. Like, what would be satisfactory for you and what he says. Before we get to that, though, we just talked about the hindsight of the Marcell Ozuna trade. And, Jamie, you were reading off some of the text messages via
Anthony.
the Air Comfort Service text line.
They don't like you very much.
And they're a little pissy with us, I guess.
Yeah, just a lot of water carrying for the team that we're basically not holding Mo accountable, that Mo deserves all of the blame. Several different takes on this one here.
And there's other ones that you had read off to me in the break about how we were basically being hypocrites because we were laughing at Marcell Ozuna climbing the wall, and now he was this, that, and the other thing. We admitted that. Maybe you missed it at the start.
I still think that's funny.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Jamie and I, look, if you've listened to us, we'll certainly admit it. I mean, we're snarky when it comes to the Marcell Ozuna play, or, John Mozeliak. We're throwing this out there because it caught our attention. It's a great point. Back in 2017, had Mo not made that trade, we would have all been furious. A lot of people would have been like, "Hey, you're giving too much attention to your prospects. You're hoarding your prospects." We would have had that thought. So, as my mic creeps up, we would have had that thought. I think it's a reminder that there is a lot of hindsight, and Jamie and I admit that we use hindsight as much as any Cardinals fan. So if you're coming at us like, well, you guys are being hypocrites, we know.
Well, not just that. I mean, sometimes you're a hypocrite by accident. And what I mean by that is, in these situations, you sit there and you just want to criticize, a couple of things that have happened. But then when you go back and you try to put yourself in that situation, sometimes you have a bit of a different thought regarding said situation. So it's not really being a hypocrite. It's kind of like going back and going, well, you know what? Maybe I was a little hasty with that.
Sure.
Maybe there was a different answer to this. Now, I will forever say that once you got to the third guy on the pecking order there, you wanted Stanton, you wanted Yelich, and then Ozuna. Once you got to that guy, I don't know. I feel like it was a little bit of desperation.
Did the package need to be that large for Ozuna?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, if that was the same offer for Giancarlo Stanton or even Christian Yelich at the time,
which I doubt,
you're kind of like, Yeah. But when Ozuna, I feel like there was a level of panic at that point by the Cardinals. And they finally got a fish on the hook that was, You like the play on words there? The Marlins?
Yeah, the Marlins.
Yeah.
You did a good job there.
You didn't do a very good job recognizing it right away.
Well, I did.
Please be better.
I said the Marlins right away there.
But they ended up with one team that was nibbling at the hook, and they said, we better get this power hitter because we've talked to a couple other teams. They're not available. Mm-hmm. These guys with that much power and just, give them what they want.
Yeah.
So they were a victim of the moment, too.
Here's Justin, who left us a mic drop, and then we'll tell you our thoughts on Mo and what could come out of this Fox 2 interview with Martin Kilcoyne. But we asked, what do you want to hear out of Mo tonight after the All-Star game? Here's Justin.
I want to hear Mo say, I'm a fluid idiot. I should not go one and done when it comes to the offseason and the trade deadline. And I'm stepping down from my position.
Okay, I don't know if we're going to hear that, but extra credit for Justin for using the fast lane version of the F word. Nice job there.
Yes.
We recognize that. Nice. Jamie, what do you want to hear out of Mo?
Plan. I want to hear a breakdown of what the plan is moving forward. Not specifics like with certain players and certain trades and targeting pitchers and but a plan. Like, okay, here, this is not the way we wanted it to go this year. Obviously, we're in a situation that we're not used to as a front office. We're not used to as a fan base. My goal is to make sure this doesn't ever happen again while I am here as president of baseball operations. So the plan moving forward is to evaluate this team internally and evaluate what our scouting staff is bringing us from around the league. And when the trade deadline gets here, we will operate accordingly. Our goal is to certainly add pitching for the long-term part of the Cardinals for the next couple of years. We have some positional players that we think are great and will stay here. We have some other players that we think we can maybe upgrade. This is what I want to hear. I want to hear exactly what's going on. Not, I'm going to go get Dylan Cease. I'm not going to go.
You're not going to hear that tonight.
We're looking to acquire major league pitching and major league ready pitching.
Yeah.
That's our goal.
I couldn't agree more. I'm with you on that. So instead of just repeating what you just said, because I'm with you, I want to hear a game plan. I want to hear a game plan in terms of the pitching specifically. But here's what I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear anything about the division. I don't want to hear anything about there's still a second half. I don't want to hear anything about how they're so close or this is a one-off. I don't want to hear any of that. I want to hear to some degree, and I think this is good for all of. I'll just speak for myself. It's good for me, and I think it'd be good for somebody in a position like John Mozeliak to show a little humility, because if you're gonna display pride tonight by talking about how, well, we built a good offense, we just need to fine-tune the pitching, or look at what we've done in the past, this is just a one-off, and you're relying on and you're kind of going down the pride route, I think that would be a massive mistake.
Yeah,
I think you have to show some humility and say, look, mistakes have been made, here's the game plan to your point, but if he brings up anything about plenty of baseball left, or the division is still up for grabs, any of that stuff, that to me would just be an indication of you don't realize how deep the hole is. So
I'll agree with you on that part. Where I'll disagree with you a little bit is when you're talking about the humility part. Mm-hmm. I do think it's okay for John Mozeliak to say, hey, look, we have two of the best corner infielders in the game. We've upgraded in certain batting average. Like, I think it's okay for him to highlight this is what we've done good. Now, where we've missed the mark is pitching. Top to bottom, the rotation in the bullpen has not been as consistent as we needed it to be to play winning baseball. Can we upgrade certain positional things or maybe upgrade a little bit of the offense in certain areas? Yeah, we'll continue to tinker with that. But the main focus right now is getting our pitching back on track. So I think it's okay to highlight, hey, Nolan Gorman here is a guy we drafted. He's playing pretty good. Mm-hmm. Jordan Walker, he's playing pretty good too. Lars Nootbaar, like Tommy Edman, Brendan Donovan. Like, we've got a lot of pieces here that we've done a pretty good job. Now, we've failed over here. We misevaluated where guys were in their career, and maybe we shouldn't have sign Steven Matz. I don't think he'll say that, but he'll say maybe there are some signings that we would like to go back on, or he won't even say that. He'll say something to the effect of we're looking to upgrade from the pitching position. And I think that's okay. I think you can do both. You can admit that you're wrong at the same time as admitting where you have done some good work. Because I think the fan base overall, any company, any fan base, anybody who wants to see that there's been something positive too. Can't just be, this is all crap. All of it is crap. Burn it down, all of it. It can't just be that way.
That's kind of what I'm hoping, though.
I know, but it's not the Oakland A's here right
Tonight
now.
after the All-Star game, according to Martin Kilcoyne, John Mozeliak on the mistakes made, fan frustration with the franchise, and anger directed at him. This is all following the All-Star game on Fox 2. We're having this discussion throughout the course of the day. You can participate. What do you want to hear from Mo tonight? Now, Justin went kind of the whole burn the whole place down and fire yourself Mo route. You don't have to go that route. You could go anywhere you want. So leave us a mic drop via the via the mic drop app or our 101 ESPN app, and we'll play it throughout the course of the day today. But we do have our sports six-pack next. 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line. If you got a question for us, send it in. Sports six-pack next in the Fast Lane.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. And I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is refreshed by Maggie O'Brien's, your go-to Irish pub in St. Louis for over 42 years.
Time for the Sports Six-Pack in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. The Air Comfort Service tax line is 314-399-9646. Here's Andrew Marsh with your questions.
Question number 1.
All right, guys, we've been talking about John Mozeliak for most of the show so far. This one's from Thanks Dad. What do you think Mo's definition of the Cardinal way is, and does it still exist?
It's a good question. I think his definition would include, fundamental baseball. I mean, everything I say here is you're going to laugh at, but good pitching, defense, fundamental baseball, running the bases well, heads up play, hardworking, kind of nose to the grindstone type, doing the smart things as an organization to evaluate that talent, doing the smart things on the field to put you in a position to win. Basically all the things that we're not seeing this year.
Yeah, I kind of echo what you're saying, because this year has not looked like the Cardinal way. It just hasn't. Fundamentally, it hasn't looked that way. Never mind about the Cardinals' mystique of how to be a Cardinal and the clubhouse stuff and the historical value of being a Cardinal. That's irrelevant. For me, fundamentally, it hasn't been the Cardinal way. You don't have pitching and your defense not very good.
Right.
The two things that you've
cost your games.
Yeah, it's the two things you've prided yourself on for a long time, but mostly in recent years. So yeah, I would agree with that.
Buttoned up too. Buttoned up. Don't embarrass the organization.
Yeah, but I mean, most teams probably don't want you embarrassing the organization. Sure. But I do think that there could be a little encouragement for guys to be a little more energetic. Although when you lose, it's tough. Like people always like, well, Lars Nootbaar. Well, Lars has been fairly quiet too, because it's a fine line when you're losing as much as the Cardinals are, than getting out there and you're trying to whoop it up. If you're like, look at this guy.
No.
Look at this guy.
You can't be grinding all over the place. Pepper grinding all over the place when you're losing games. I think he's handled that well.
Yes.
By not breaking out.
But every now and then you can grind it up a little bit.
Just a little bit. Like one or two.
Yeah. Well said.
Thank you.
Question number 2.
From the 618, how do you guys feel about St. Louis's chances to host the World Juniors?
So this is the World Junior Championship, the Under 20 Championship. This tournament I played in, tournament I won the gold medal in. Fairly proud of that too.
Nice job, Jamie.
It is the biggest junior hockey tournament in the world. And I think that St. Louis and the Blues in particular getting behind this, along with the St. Louis Sports Commission, I believe they're in on this, really pushing to get the championships here. I'm curious to see how it works out. You certainly have the rinks to support it. You've got Centene that's got the 2,500 plus seat sheet of ice there that you can play some games. You got the Enterprise Center for all your marquee games, Canada, US, Canada, Russia, whatever it is, like those big games will be, down at the Enterprise Center. You also have the Family Arena in St. Charles. I don't know if the Blues will dial into that, but that's a 9,000 seat arena that if you have like a B card, maybe it's USA and Russia or Sweden or something like that. You have plenty of area to have the tournament. Where I wonder the most is, do you have the interest locally? And what I mean by that is, yes, we have great hockey fans here. The sport is growing at a rapid pace. But do you have enough to sell out game after game after game of junior hockey of players you don't know here in St. Louis? Like, that's always been the hardest thing for this tournament, is taking it to areas where the fan base don't really know all the players. And like in Canada, it sells automatic. Like you go anywhere in Canada and run this tournament and they're selling out just because Canadians are hockey fools.
And you're playing at different times throughout the day. Is that going to...
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know how that I don't know how that would work out. But if the Blues are dipping their toes in the water and St. Louis Sports Commission and St. Louis, the city itself, if they're all sitting there saying, yes, we'd like to do it, then they must have the database that shows that this can happen, that this could be something big here. Because nobody puts this tournament on with the thought of losing money. So I would personally love it. I mean, I would feel heaven watching this junior hockey stuff and going back and just the memories. And, like, it's awesome hockey, too. You're getting the best players in the world that are about to be NHLers. So I think it's interesting. I'm here for it.
Question number 3.
From the 636, would you rather hit a hole-in-one or bowl a 300?
Hit a hole-in-one.
So, true story. I was one frame away from a perfect game one time.
Really?
Yeah. It was a team party with the Boston Bruins.
The bumpers up? Or?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. They were, it was a real deal. I have no idea why. I'm not a bowler. I just was.
You were locked in that night.
That one day it was locked in. We were starting to laugh about it. Billy Guerin, who's now the GM of the Wild, was in my little group and he was like, call me Big Earn. From Kingpin.
Yeah. That's great. The hair,
yeah. Just holding up the ball.
That's great.
But yeah, I think a hole-in-one, though, is more exhilarating, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Just because it's a one in the moment. It'd be like the bowling game, it's actually got stressful. I was having fun with it, like 5 or 6 frames in. I'm like, this is a joke, right?
Yeah.
It's a joke. Then like 6, 7, I was like, this is like possible. Now you have to hit 3 in the last frame, which would have been astronomical.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think the
hole-in-one.
I think I'm going bowling a 300.
Yeah.
I've already hit a hole-in-one before, and I'm telling you right now, I
here
am
we
not
go.
good at golf.
Humble
so
brag.
it is all, I mean, it's luck. That's what it is. But you have to have skill, a little bit of skill to bowl a 300. And, you know, me personally, I'm not that great of a bowler either. So I think the skill aspect would.
Now, Marsh,
Bowling's all in the grip.
For sure.
It is.
You have to have a
You got to
good
make sure
grip.
the holes are big enough for your fingers,
Absolutely.
but not too big. You don't want your fingers sliding out of the holes.
Yeah.
And if the holes are too small, you can't get your fingers in the hole properly. Mm-hmm. And that affects everything to do with your balls, like whenever you throw them.
It's important to do your pregame on that.
Is there a different way to grip a bowling ball?
Well, some people take the whole ball in
palm
their
it.
hand.
They palm it?
They palm it. It's like one big ball palming.
Yeah.
And others certainly go back to more traditional of 2 in the top holes and then just 1 in the
Right.
bottom hole.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to change my form.
Maybe. Now, Marsh, when you got your hole-in-one, was it the windmill or the clown mouth opening
You're
up?
funny.
Or
You're funny, Anthony.
par 3?
It's a par 3 of
I'm
course.
sorry, no, it was a par 4. He's Happy Gilmore.
I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe
jeez.
crushed him one on a par 4. How do I know?
Okay.
This kid's talented AF.
Okay, Shooter McGavin.
An interesting story behind it. Someone,
shooter's time.
it was the par 3, and there was a, the cart path that cut right in front of where, the tee box. And as I was in my backswing, 2 people drove on the cart path right by me, like right in front of me. And everyone was like, whoa, wait. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, what the hell?
Wow.
So now I'm just pissed off. And I said, screw it. I just went up there and I just swung. And then it went in.
And then you've been trying to
Do you have a
replicate
picture,
that.
Marshy? Like,
I do.
sitting there
Yeah, I
holding
have a
the ball?
video of me walking up to the ball. I got a picture with it too.
That's cool.
That is cool.
So,
Well done.
thank you.
Question number 4.
From the 636, who's going to be more effective in their rookie year, Connor Bedard or Victor Wembanyama?
Probably Victor Wembanyama. I think he's going to have more opportunities to just kind of be the player that he is. I think Connor Bedard's going to take a little while. Plus, basketball, it's 5-on-5, but you can kind of take over a little bit in basketball. Or in hockey, you're still playing
Yeah.
line, depending on what the line is. Chicago isn't going to be good again. I think Victor.
So I think it's interesting, the question overall, because both players are literally in the same predicament.
For sure.
They're both going to the worst team in the league. They're both going to get ample opportunity to play. They're both, in my opinion, I question their size. Now, Wembanyama is, he, 7 feet tall, this guy?
Yeah.
I mean, but he's also like 112 pounds. I'm being facetious, but he's not a big dude. He doesn't.
He
look,
might actually be 112 pounds.
He doesn't look like the biggest dude. So I wonder how that's going to translate to his first season in the NBA. And Connor Bedard is, what, 5'9", 5'10", 180 pounds maybe. So I wonder how his size also plays into the NHL.
Wembanyama is listed at 210.
Okay, and he's 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
So that's my point.
7'5".
That's my point.
Right.
Is like,
he's
how much
tall and slender.
Damage can he do down low in the paint? I know he's big and he's going to have a height advantage, but those guys drop shoulders and they get it does happen down there. So I think both of them have challenges that lie ahead of them. I actually think Bedard will have more of an impact based on the fact that he's going to get every single perfect playing moment. Like every power play, he's going to be out there. Every 5-on-3, he's going to be out there. Every overtime, he's going to be out there. So I think he will have a bigger impact on his team.
Question number 5.
Last one here. Would you guys respect Mo a little bit more if he said this was a 90-plus win team last season? The players are not playing up to their potential, and it's my job to fix that at the deadline.
Wow, that's interesting. Let's get into that. It's a good question. I think it's worthy of a couple more minutes. So we'll talk about that after the break here on 101 ESPN.
I don't know if you ever heard the interview with Zach Gallen when he got traded. He believes it was because he did not want to report to winter ball because he had played all summer and he had a dead arm. And Mo was telling him he needed to report. And Zach Gallen was getting married and said, no, I'm not going to report. So again, it comes back to confrontations. Mo wants to run things the way he wants to run it. And then the Randy Arozarena deal. So it's like if you aren't perfect with what he wants, then he will trade you.
All right, so that was from Todd, who left us a mic drop. We did hear the comments made by Zach Gallen. I believe it was on AJ Przynski's podcast, and we had talked about it at the time. The only thing here is we don't know the context behind it. Like we heard what Gallen said. We heard what Gallen thought, but it was still just an opinion. He thought he got dealt because he didn't show up for winter ball, or he told the Cardinals he wasn't. You heard what Todd said. He wasn't going to go down to winter ball. Didn't think, but it wasn't just winter ball. I thought it was also the winter warm up.
It was the winter warm up, I believe, more than winter ball.
Yeah, or he was also doing winter ball. Then he did whatever. Here's the thing: it's still just Zach Gallen's opinion. He was echoing what his agent was thinking.
Yeah.
He also was part of a deal that netted the Cardinals Marcell Ozuna, who at the time was a stud. The Marlins may have asked for Zach Gallen. So all of this is like this interpretation. Now, to Todd's other point about Mo, the pushback and things like that, when you hire Mike Matheny, who was not an experienced manager, and then you replaced Matheny with Schilt, who didn't have experience managing at the big league level, and then you hire as Schilt's replacement or promote Ollie Marmol to replace Schilt. There is a reputation here there is a resume that you're building of what sort of manager you're looking for. So to Todd's other point about how maybe Mo doesn't want any pushback, he probably doesn't want that after working with Tony. He probably wants final say on everything. He probably does want a manager that maybe not is a complete yes man, but is going to work in line with Mo's vision. I think part of that is good, but if you don't have people within the building that are going to give you a little bit of pushback, then I think the results can be disastrous. Does that make sense? I think it's okay to kind of build the staff, in this case have a manager and the coaching staff, that are on the same page about what the vision is of the organization. I think you should have that. But if you don't have any sort of pushback within the building, then you have just a bunch of yes men. Mm-hmm. So to Todd's second point there, I do think that is one thing that most should probably look at.
Well, look, it's apparent. It really is. I mean, I don't know what goes on behind. I get shocked again. I don't know what goes on behind closed doors in their meetings, but for every successful company or sports franchise, you have a vision. What's our vision for this club? What's our our way of doing business? How are we going to get from A to B? That's your blueprint. Now, when it comes to staffing your company or finding your players, you have to have different opinions. You cannot just be like, everybody agree in the room that this is our player here. Yeah, right. That's the best one.
Right.
No, you need a few guys, and they said, no, he is nowhere nearly as good as this player. I don't like this, or I've seen him not be as competitive as he can be. This player over here is better. And then Mo can say, well, I disagree. Well, that's fine, but here's some evidence. Look at the video. Like, you have to have that pushback.
Yeah.
You have to, because not everybody sees everything the same way. Mm-hmm. It's literally like when you look at certain paintings and people are like, what do you see? Well, I see this and this and this. Oh, okay, well, I see this. You're looking at the same damn painting, but you both see two different things.
Right.
That's what you need. Because getting from A to B might consist of a combination of both of your opinions. Mm-hmm. But if it's just the same opinion every single time, what do you do when things are bad then? Well, now what? Because you don't have any ideas. Your ideas are mine and my ideas are yours. So, oh boy, now we're screwed. Mm-hmm. No, when things go bad, you go, okay, hey, remember that thought we had about this style of player?
Yeah.
Let's go get that kind of guy right now. Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
Because my way didn't work.
Now, Marsh, you had posed a question that was thrown out to us in the Sports Six-Pack. Go ahead and rephrase it because I thought it was an interesting one.
Yeah, just would you guys respect Mo if a little bit more if he said, and this isn't just directed at you two, obviously, everyone that's listening, if he said that this was a 90-plus win team last season, the players are virtually the same, they're just not playing good. They're not playing good, and at the deadline, we have to wait till the market ends up being a thing. I'm going to go fix this team.
That last part is key because, and I've been preaching this all week. It's Tuesday. I've been preaching this for about a week.
You're allowed to say it's been all week, Anthony.
It's day 2.
A little much, but go ahead.
If I were to hear, hey, don't forget this was a 93-win team last year, and I just think that the players just aren't executing, but we believe in them, and we're going to get this thing going. I don't think no. There's a culmination of missteps that have led you to this. It's never just a one-off, ever. So that last part about we believed in this team, the players aren't executing, and we need to fix it. It's my job now to fix it. That last part, to me, is key. What about you, Jamie?
Yeah, I think you have to identify that you're going to fix it, and I think it's okay to lay some of this on the players. Look at some of their performances. They've been subpar. So I don't think talking about the obvious, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If the players were good enough, they wouldn't be in last place. So a combination of if the player's good enough and if the player has played good enough, same thing. I mean, if you've got a bunch of guys that are raking and your pitching staff is, on point, you wouldn't be in last place. Right. So both things can be true at the same time. I think he's got to tweak it a little bit, and the players have to play better, but Mo has to change the players. It cannot be the same version of this team moving forward. Even if you roll out the same positional players, you've got to completely revamp your pitching staff. And that's not going to be an easy process.
I wonder if and we'll get into this later in the show, but I wonder if there's a collective group of position players that feel frustrated because the pitching has not essentially helped them out. They feel like maybe they're doing their job, but the pitching staff isn't doing their job, and maybe there's a little butting of heads, and that's why they're not gelling as well as they could be. Now, I'm not saying that's the case, but frustration starts to creep in when you're not winning games.
Nolan Arenado's blaming the pitching staff?
Now, why would I say that?
Oh, Goldie is. Oh, wow, Andrew.
Why would I say that?
You just did. He kind of just did, right?
Why would you say that, Marsh? I think that's a great question.
I don't think there's any blame like that going around because, look, everybody's got their own backyard. I can tell you from being in a locker room that was very successful and also being in locker rooms that were not successful. You can get ticked off when a teammate makes a bad play, and it happens, and you can try to help him correct it, and you can learn from it at the same time, too, not to make the same mistake as he's making. But you can't really sit there and just throw up on his plate and be like, it's all your fault.
Right.
Because you better be perfect at that point. And right now, there's not one Cardinal that has been perfect. Nolan Arenado's defense has been way below par. Paul Goldschmidt has had his moments as well, although he's been pretty steady all season long. But nobody has had that perfect season. So for one guy to stand up and blame the pitchers for their job, I just don't think you can do that.
Yeah, I agree. All right, that's Fastlane on 101 at ESPN. We're going to do our Cardinals midseason superlatives next. Should have some fun with these.
Oh, these are going to be great.
That's all coming up next here on 101 ESPN.
If you're looking right now to revamp all of your insurance needs, get a personal assessment of what's going on, it's the perfect time. Tracy Bibb was on these airwaves yesterday talking about the timing is perfect. There's a lot of things going on in the insurance world. You want to make sure that you're double checking, make sure you have the right coverage, and that you're getting the right price as well. Whether it's your car insurance, your home insurance, Allstate Insurance, and Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency have got you covered. For a free non-committal quote, just give her a call. That number's 314-328-4260. And I can tell you from personal experience that Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency, they're the best. They're going to take care of you. They're going to get everything that you need on paper, and they're going to try and battle away and get you the lowest rate possible. And then they're on speed dial for you. If you have any problems, you get somebody from the Bibb Agency. And that's the most comforting part about it, is that you feel like they care about you, which they do. You're part of the Bibb family. So again, for that free non-committal quote, give Tracy a call at 314-328-4260. It's no fib. You're in good hands with Tracy Bibb.
Time for some Cardinals midseason superlatives in the fast lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. What do you got, Marsh?
All right, let's start off with the most trustworthy position player.
The most trustworthy position player.
Mm-hmm. This one's easy for me.
What do you got?
Paul Goldschmidt. Goldie. I mean, Nolan Arenado usually is your automatic too, but Arenado's made a lot more mistakes this year than Paul Goldschmidt. I feel like Goldie is just locked down. The one game, 2 games ago, I think he had that one that was hit at 400 miles an hour that he just missed. But apart from that, you don't see him missing too often. In fact, he makes so many unbelievable catches to save outs over at first base. He's my guy.
Yeah, agreed. Paul Goldschmidt for me too.
I'm going with Brendan Donovan.
What?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Every time he's up at the plate, like, I just feel like he's gonna get a base hit every single time.
No Wilson Contreras?
Anthony, stop. Most trustworthy pitcher. Now that's hard.
Jordan Montgomery.
How sure are you of that?
About as sure as I am about the Cardinals pitching staff as a whole. Jamie?
Thank you. Oh, Monty, huh?
Miles Michaelis every other month has been good. Adam Wainwright, unfortunately, has not been good all year. Jack Flaherty, still a wild card. Matthew Liberatore, no. Steven Matz, no. It's Jordan Montgomery.
It is Jordan Montgomery. I have to agree with you on that one.
I mean, even if you were to go to the bullpen, Jordan Hicks just came about.
You can't do bullpen. Those guys are very specific. Like, in there for 2 or 3 batteries, it's not the same as pitching 5 innings.
Who's been the most trustworthy reliever for you guys, though? Because for me, it's Genesis Cabrera.
He was good at the beginning of the year, started to tail off a little bit.
Who hasn't?
That's true. I'd throw Chris Stratton in the mix. But even recently, he hasn't been locking things down.
I mean, Jordan Hicks was flailing at the start of the season, but boy, he's put the pedal to the metal here recently.
Yeah, he got demoted. It's like, this guy can't pitch in the 7th or the 8th.
I don't know.
Honestly, nobody. But if we had to pick somebody, I'll go with Chris Stratton. That's my guy.
I go Jordan Hicks. That's how bad it is.
Biggest surprise from a positive standpoint.
Biggest surprise from a positive standpoint, Nolan Gorman.
Yes. 100%, Anthony.
Gorman, coming into the year, was still a huge question mark. It doesn't feel that
trade
way.
bait.
Yeah.
Every trade we put together was like, well, we'll throw Gorman in there.
Right.
And then he just came in, absolutely just pounded the baseball.
Yeah, Gorman's been the best surprise.
I would agree with you guys. Biggest surprise from a negative standpoint.
I hate it.
We're just doing specific players, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to be biggest surprise is probably Adam Wainwright for me. The biggest surprise is that he's barely been able to pitch.
Right.
And it's not because of his injuries, maybe, but it's not the Waino. I expected 5, 6, 7 innings. He's 2 and 3 innings, 1 inning, and
I guess Tyler O'Neill.
he hasn't played a game yet.
He did. Remember, got yelled at.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I thought that was spring training. That's my bad. He's at
I
the
think
WBC.
they talked to him in spring training about it too. I think it's Tyler O'Neill. I didn't expect that Tyler O'Neill was going to resemble what he did 3 years ago. I really didn't. But for the guy to just be non-existent with this back injury.
Yeah, but does that really? Can you really do that to him?
Yeah, absolutely. You're not available.
No, he's not available, but that also doesn't mean he was going to play like crap. I don't know.
You have my answer.
Yeah, I don't like it, but yeah. I support it. I don't necessarily think it fits.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it doesn't fit, and you just got to go with it anyways, Anthony.
That's true.
All right, let's get into the good stuff.
Gotta roll.
Most likely to leave the runner stranded.
Wow. Take your pick. Who's the guy that every time gets up there, you're like, there's no chance. There's no chance. He's hitting into a double play. He's hitting it infield fly. Who is that guy for us? I'm trying to think.
Goldschmidt.
Wow.
Or Arenado.
Me, it's Dylan Carlson. I feel like every time DC gets up there with runners in scoring position, it just, yeah.
Now I'm interested, like, who's got the worst RISP numbers?
Unfortunately, I think I might go with Paul DeYoung.
He was on the podium.
I was thinking about this the other day, and obviously these numbers.
Well, he's part of the team. He's a human being.
Yeah, but it's like, the biggest surprise type thing. Like,
he's a human being.
I know he's a human being.
These are not concrete numbers. These are just me watching the game. And this was the same idea I had about the sac fly, where I'm like, I can't remember a time when they could get a sac fly, and then all of a sudden they started to. Does Paul DeYoung only hit solo home runs?
Probably. Yeah.
That was one thing that I noticed.
That's because nobody's getting on in front of him.
There you go.
Which, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, most likely to produce in the clutch. The old Lisa metric.
Gorman's been pretty clutch this year.
Yeah, with 2 outs, too.
Nolan Gorman.
He's been pretty clutch. I know he's a strikeout machine at times, but when there's 2 outs, 2 strikes, he seems to come through in those situations. I mean, how many ninth-inning home runs has he hit this year? Or go-ahead home runs?
Yeah, Gorman for me, for sure.
Who's the first guy out of the dugout for a brawl?
Oh, Cardinals first guy. I'm going to go with Contreras.
Wills Contreras, for sure.
I think he's the first guy out for sure.
Okay, who's the last guy out of the dugout for a brawl?
O'Neill.
He's not in the dugout. He's on the trading table.
When he is, I think it's O'Neill.
You think he's last?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's last, Anthony. I was going to go with Tommy Edman. He seems too smart to get involved with some of that stuff.
It's a good call.
You guys go ahead and do that. I'm going to wait over here.
All right, guys, who's most likely to drop down a bunt?
Tommy Edman.
Tommy Edman. Well, Brendan Donovan's right there with me, too.
I think it's Alec Burleson. He's dropping bunts down all the time, and he's getting infield singles. Well, they have that slight shift on him. He's always dropping bunts down the third base side.
Were they bunts or were they just light contact?
They are bunts. He's straight up bunting down third base.
Whoops. Check swing.
That one that scares you?
Going back to the stranding runners. Stranding runners, producing in the clutch. There's been a few times Alec Burleson has had bases loaded, game is on the line, and he's just tapped back to the pitcher. It's happened, or like hit like a soft grounder. It's happened twice that I can remember. In Boston, Brendan Donovan is running to second. They get away with it. They win the game. It happened again against the White Sox. It bounced right over, who is it, Graves? Is that his name? On his glove. He makes it down to first. Cardinals end up coming back and winning. I just find it funny.
We got a great text here from the 314 regarding our who's first out of the dugout in a brawl. They say O'Neill is first, but he's charging at Ollie.
I disagree with that. I don't think he wants to get hurt.
All right, we're getting some from the text line.
Charging, I mean,
you
brisk
watch your
walk.
hamstring.
Yeah.
Ellie Dela Cruz probably made this one more popular, but from the 314, most likely to steal home.
From the Cardinals?
Yeah.
Wow.
Tommy Edman still.
Yeah, Tommy Edman he's fast. Like Tyler O'Neill's by far the fastest player if he actually hits the throttle. But yeah, nobody's even close to Tyler O'Neill. But we don't get that very often from the training room.
All right, who's most likely to go off in the second half?
They have a big second half.
Like go off, okay. Like, because Arenado and Goldie, they've still been pretty consistent this year.
I'll say Jordan Walker.
Oh, that's a good one.
I can see Jordan Walker catch fire.
I'm going to say Wilson Contreras.
Ooh, that would be
I
a
can
big
see
one.
that too.
So this plays into my next one. Who will have the biggest turnaround in the second half? Is Wilson Contreras a part of that conversation?
Yeah. And I don't think he's got much to turn around, but his numbers are off his career norms, so I'll say Contreras.
Yeah,
he's a good hitter.
Well, he's been heating up here too recently. Yeah. He's had a couple of games with 3 for 4 one night and 2 for 4 the next night. Like he's hitting the bombs. He's starting to find that swing a little bit.
Yeah.
Is there a pitcher that could possibly turn things around in the second half? That will remain on the Cardinals?
That's an excellent answer.
I think it's Matz. Out of all the available choices, I could see him 5 1/3 in things for a while.
This team will take it. That's a complete game.
Yeah, basically. I saw one of the Cardinals draft picks. I think our guy Swan tweeted this.
Oh, the guy from Stanford.
Yeah, he threw 100 and...
I saw what you wrote, too. You're such an asshat. Go ahead.
It's actually from Brendan Schaefer. Brendan Schaefer tweeted out, new Cardinals draftee Quinn Matthews threw 156 pitches in a complete game for Stanford last month. So I simply replied with, keep him in the minors until he realizes the importance of only going 5 1/3. I mean, come on. 100 pitches, 5 1/3. Get the hell out of there. About 3 runs or so. Got to get to this bullpen quicker. Okay? Still, there's a couple of good arms still left in this bullpen. We got to basically just completely saw right through those guys. Let's not be irresponsible here, huh?
You're such a jerk.
Are we starting to figure out some of the sellers and the buyers? Is that starting to come into fruition here? Talk about it next on 101 ESPN.
Are you in the market right now of selling your home or in the process of trying to decide if you're going to sell your home? The market is kind of crazy. It's all over the place. And one thing I can tell you is you don't want to trust that sale of your home in the hands of someone who maybe doesn't know what they're doing, maybe not an experienced agent, and you're not going to get the most money or the biggest amount of traffic to your listing. That's why you call Gloria Lou. With your home sold guaranteed realty, Gloria already has the buyers. And what that means is Gloria has thousands of ready buyers in her exclusive database, and those buyers create more traffic to your listing, higher demand, and hopefully more money for you. She also has options available to you, and the one that I love is the guaranteed sales option, where Gloria will sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she will buy it herself, and she guarantees that in handwriting. So please, if you're looking to sell your home or do anything in the real estate world, give Gloria Lou a call at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions do apply. Gloria and the seller must agree on the price and possession date.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Last night, Vlad Guerrero Jr. defeated Randy Arozarena 25-23 in home runs in the final of the Home Run Derby. Vlad Guerrero Jr. joins his dad as the only father-son duo to win the title. All-Star Game festivities continue tonight. You can listen right here on 101 ESPN. Pre-game starts at 6. Tomorrow, City SC taking on LAFC. That start time is at 9:30. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Watch the game. It's Paul DeYoung. Every time there's people on base, he gets a double play or strikes out. He only hits runs and home runs when nobody's on.
There you go. That was from Janet. As usual, she's absolutely right. We got some numbers on it, too, don't we?
Yeah, we got a text from the 636. Expected it to be a lot more, but only 7 of DeYoung's 12 home runs this year have been solo shots. He has 3 2-run homers and 2 3-run home runs.
There you go. And
What's his RISP?
I was trying to look up the RISP numbers for the entire team.
I'm so curious now as to who the actual worst Cardinal is.
I can find team RISP numbers, but individuals, I mean, somebody's got to have them, but I went to Fangraphs
Anthony,
real quick.
let me handle this. Air
Text
Comfort
line.
Service
Yeah.
text line 314-399-9646. Give us the worst 3 Cardinals with runners in scoring position, their stats. We can't find them. Don't know why, but we can't find them.
I mean, they're available somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. We just don't know
Maybe Baseball Savant?
Maybe.
I'll do some digging.
Fangraphs?
I'm looking at Fangraphs right now. I can tell you the walk percentage, K percentage, average.
Can you tell me the
WRC?
FIP? The FIP?
I can tell you the FIP.
What about the Woe Bacon?
Haven't seen Will Bacon yet, but I'm sure to get there. Yeah. Anyways. All right. So the White Sox, according to the New York Post, they're ready to sell at the trade deadline while protecting 4 core players. The 4 core players, Luis Robert, makes sense, Eloy Jimenez, Andrew Vaughn, and unfortunately, but not surprisingly, Dylan Cease. And Dylan Cease is a name that a lot of Cardinals fans have been talking about.
So much for that one, Anthony.
I was saying, why would the White Sox give up Dylan Cease? Why would the White Sox give up any young cost control pitcher?
I was so excited about the possibility, and then this comes out.
Yeah, sorry about that. But here's the question, Jamie. Are we starting to have a better understanding or feel for who's going to sell and who's going to trade?
Yeah, I think it's starting to shake up, right? Like, this is the All-Star break is upon us. The trade deadline is only a couple of weeks away. And I think you have to start evaluating. If you're a team in the NL or the AL, you have to start looking at your team and go, okay, what can we do to either make the playoffs or make this team better for next year? Because if it's not make the playoffs this year, how can we build our team for next year or the years to come? Like, if you're the A's, like, you're not building for next year. You're building for 5 years from now or 6 years from now, a decade, whatever it is, okay? Each team is in a different spot. This is where I find the Cardinals to be unique. I don't believe them to be a last-place team in their division, like, ultimately. So it's kind of weird because they are a last-place team, so they're going to have to operate like that. They're going to have to trade off, in my opinion, they're going to have to trade off pieces that are not going to be back next year. Free agents to be. And maybe trade off some pieces that you look to acquire pitching that'll help you for next year or the year after. So the Cardinals in a unique position to where they're going to be sellers, but they could also be buyers if they're buying the right pieces for moving forward. That's where they're kind of different. So I don't know where the White Sox fall in that category. I know they have, I believe that their team should be better than where they're at currently, especially in that division.
Yeah. I think that's your comparable. I think that the White Sox and the Cardinals are the best comparable.
From each league?
Yes. Look, this is why I keep saying the Cardinals can't screw this up. They can, of course, but this trade deadline is vital when it comes to the Cardinals setting themselves up for the future. Let's just take a look at the obvious sellers. The Oakland A's are an obvious seller. The Kansas City Royals are an obvious seller. The White Sox are a combination, just like the Cardinals, of selling but also realizing that they have a couple of building blocks still in Jimenez, Robert, Cease, and Andrew Vaughn. The Detroit Tigers, an obvious seller. Then you've got teams like the Twins, the Angels. The Angels with Shohei, that's kind of a one-off example. The Mariners, the Red Sox, the Yankees, all within 5 games of the wild card. If you look in the National League, you've got the Rockies, the Nationals, the Pirates as obvious sellers, but the Mets aren't an obvious seller. The Cubs are unlikely to sell. You've got the Padres, who I don't think are going to sell, and they're six games out of it right now. And when I mean out of it, I mean the wild card. The Brewers, the Phillies, the Giants, the Diamondbacks, the Marlins are all within a half game of the wild card. Jamie, the A's have virtually nothing. The Royals have virtually nothing. The Tigers have virtually nothing. The Rockies, the Nationals, the Pirates, in terms of who they could be giving up, have virtually nothing. The Cardinals and the White Sox should be the 2 teams that everybody's flocking to. Jordan Montgomery, Lucas Giolito, Jack Flaherty, Mike Clevenger if he's healthy. These are pitchers that teams will want to buy. Zach Greinke of the Royals, Eduardo Rodriguez of the Tigers, that makes some sense. You might be interested in him. But for the Nationals, they're not going to give you Josiah Gray. They're not going to give you Mackenzie Gore. Those are building blocks. You're looking at Patrick Corbin. You excited about Patrick Corbin or Trevor Williams? No. The Cardinals are in a unique spot.
You said Corbin. I thought you said Corbin Burns. I was like, yes.
Corbin Burns would be nice. Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
I'll take 2, please.
Patrick Corbin.
Yeah.
And like
thank
this version of Patrick Corbin, not the 2019 version. Jamie, the Cardinals are in a great spot to sell. The White Sox are in a great spot to sell. They don't have to trade some of the names that we've been talking about. Just trade the ones that are on expiring deals.
Yeah.
And you're going to get more. I guarantee
the obvious moves, Anthony? Is that what you're saying?
Make the obvious moves. I guarantee you teams are going to be willing to pay more. The Cardinals are going to get more than you think if they don't screw it up. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and I think that at the same time here, the Cardinals have to be buying the right pieces. And I don't mean like aging veterans and old contracts, buying the right pieces. So if you're selling to the Dodgers or the Astros or whomever you're selling your pitchers off or your free agents to, you've got to make sure you're buying back in return. You're making the right trades. Mm-hmm. That's going to be the tough part for the Cardinals is they're going to really have to trust their talent evaluation staff in picking the right team that has the right prospects in order to make these trades successful. Because just trading a pitcher like Monty and you pick up 3 prospects, let's say, if the prospects are they're just garbage, you gave them away.
Right.
So the point is you got to identify which teams have the right prospects that you're looking for right now, and then within those teams, do they have a dance partner? Like, do they need a Monty? Do they need a Flaherty? If they do, great. Now we can talk business.
And you could go 1 for 1, Jamie.
You could. Who cares?
You could go 1 for 1. You can trade Montgomery for a pitcher that is currently not in the big leagues, but is knocking on the door. And guess what? Second half, you're in our rotation. And you earmark it for next year. Yeah. Same thing with Flaherty. Same thing with Hicks.
I'm right there with you. Honestly, but it has to be the right ones.
We got some numbers on Paul DeJong. May need to issue an apology.
You should.
Runners in scoring position with 2 outs. Paul DeJong batting .308.
Oh, boy.
Late and close, which means 7th inning or later, the game is tied. The batting team is ahead by 1, or the tying run is on deck. He is batting .318. In the 9th inning, in 23 at-bats, he's batting .350. And from innings 7 through 9, he's batting .321.
2 words for you. Contract extension. Just think about it.
Who was the worst? Was it Burleson?
I didn't look up the worst. I just
somebody
looked up Paul
texted in
DeJong.
that Burleson and Kisner are the worst if you consider Kisner a regular.
I wouldn't.
Is Burleson a regular?
No, not anymore. At the start of the year, he was, but not anymore.
So here, let's see here. I've got somebody just sent this in. I don't see the wrist though. Anthony, get over here. Come into my camera for a second.
Makes a please in for once, huh?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, see, that's what I was looking at. I was looking at fan graphs.
Yeah, it's not working. It's not working.
No.
And most of the team, here we go. All the regulars have a 714 OPS or higher, but Burleson is the worst.
Okay.
And Kisner. But I don't consider them to be the two regular guys. They're not in the lineup every day.
No, I agree. So trade those two. Give DeJong a contract extension. You're good to go.
Sounds good.
It's a fast lane on 101 ESPN. By the way, we got Matthew Tkachuk coming up in 30 minutes.
Yeah, we do.
4:15, Matthew Tkachuk is going to join us. So we'll talk to Matthew about a variety of topics, including his run with the Panthers into the Stanley Cup. Unfortunately, they didn't win it, but Matthew Tkachuk, instant offense. We're looking forward to talking to him after talking to Brady, his brother, a couple of weeks ago. So Matthew Tkachuk again at 4:15. Let's talk a little bit about a different catcher on the Cardinals. We just talked about Kisner, but well, actually, it pairs perfectly with our conversation on Kisner. That's next on 101 ESPN.
to hear Mo finally admit that he's not the smartest guy in the room. He's not playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers. He's not the guy that he portrays himself to be. I just feel like once Luna left, we really have been in shambles as far as free agency and promotion within.
So that was Michael responding to our question today, which is that tonight after the All-Star game, John Mozeliak will talk about, according to Martin Kilcoyne, who did the interview for Fox 2, John Mozeliak will talk about the mistakes that he made, fan frustration with the franchise, and anger directed at him. And we asked you, what do you want to hear from John Mozeliak? What do you want to hear out of him? And I thought Michael's take, well, it's not going to happen. He's not going to say, well, I'm not the smartest man in the room. But the last part that Michael mentioned, I thought was accurate. I think that when you look at some of the mistakes and missteps that John Mozeliak has made, whether it's in free agency, Jamie, or trades, and look, trades happen. Bad trades happen. Good trades happen. There's always going to be. You're a GM long enough. You're a president of baseball operations long enough. Hell, a hockey, president of hockey operations. You're going to have some missteps. But is your philosophy still sound? Is your vision still sound? And to Michael's point, I think that is where Mo has made some miscalculations the most.
Yeah. I also think part of this, and I know we're going to get into this later on in the show, part of this, too, is Mo's been limited. And what I mean by that, he's been limited on what he can spend. Mm-hmm. So when you talk about Cardinals, never get that big pitch, never spend the money. Anthony, you've said this a number of times. What GM or president doesn't want to just go buy up the best talent?
Right.
It's not their money. But it is their money when it's a budget. Mm-hmm. Here's your budget. It's $180 million. Yeah, but I need 190. Your budget's 180.
Good luck. Yeah, you're right.
And so as far as some of the trades and the acquisitions in season, well, look, that falls solely on Mo and his scouting staff and the front office.
Yeah.
But free agent signings, Mo's made some bad decisions, there's no doubt. But did he make those decisions because he was limited in resources? So did he pick from the bargain bin because he had to? Mm-hmm. If not, then that's on Mo. If he had to, then that's on Mr. DeWitt.
Right. It's kind of like your parents saying, hey, listen, Jamie, we're going to give you $20. We're going to give you $20. Go ahead. Spend it how you want, buddy.
Go buy a car.
Yeah, right. What? $20. Go for it. Go to the store, get whatever you want. And you get the $20. You can go in the store, you can spend all $20 on one toy. Or you can go and you can space it out, $5 here, $3 there, $5 there, maybe one $10 gift.
You can spend it on several lesser toys.
Actually, here's a perfect example. So I took Killian to a birthday party probably about a month or two ago. It was actually down in Chesterfield, that main event place.
Oh, yes, I know.
It's got the arcade, and it's got bowling, it's got everything. Yeah. Exactly. So Killian, we were playing the games, and I kept telling him, listen, if you play the video games that don't give you the tokens or the tickets or whatever, you're not going to get something, because he had, as soon as we got in, big eyes on that store. Like he wanted something out of the store.
That's how they get you.
And I had to explain to him, I'm like, now that we can't go into the store and give them money, you have to kind of earn them in video games. So we kind of grasped the concept. So we're trying to get games to rack up the tickets. Well, he only had a certain amount of tickets. We'll just say it's 100. I don't know what it was.
Anthony, did you play certain games on purpose trying to help him get more tickets?
Maybe.
Yeah. I do the same. Go ahead.
Definitely did. Mm-hmm. The skee ball where it can reach a little bit.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, show the kid,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Show the kid how to cheat, Anthony.
Basketball, you throw two in. Anyways, so we get into the store, and what does he want? He wants all the big toys. Mm-hmm. I said, buddy, you don't have enough tickets for that. You don't have enough tickets for that. Well, he wound up with like 5 Army men, for 5 tickets apiece, 5 pieces of bubble gum. Like he had a bunch of stuff, but it wasn't what he's looking for. It's similar, like you're saying. If you're constrained when it comes to your budget and what your boss is giving you, and you've got other needs, it's not just getting that pitcher. Maybe you also need a utility man. You need a reliever. You need that, this, that, and the other thing. You need a left-handed power bat. there's only so much you can do if
Hello,
ownership.
Corey Dickerson.
Corey Dickerson sitting fifth right now for the Nationals. Boy, he'd look good in the Cardinals. I mean, what are you going to do?
What about
boss is telling you can't buy everything.
What about the decision, though, to go out and get a catcher when you have the quote-unquote heir apparent in Memphis, and you sign said catcher for multiple years for a lot of money, the most money that you have given out to a free agent, and since I can remember.
I'll just say my viewpoint on this. I think Contreras, when he got in front of Mo and Ollie, really impressed him. Really impressed him the way that he talked about filling the shoes of Yachty, but also being himself. Mo kind of fell in love with Wilson Contreras from the other side because he hated anytime he came up, he hated playing against Contreras as a Cardinals president of baseball operations. And he fell in love with the fact that he didn't have to give up prospects or Newt or Donovan or whoever Oakland wanted for Sean Murphy. So I think the idea, it snowballed very quickly, the idea of signing Contreras. And I think it became less about Ivan Herrera and more about what you're going to get out of from Contreras. And I think in that same vein, he overlooked maybe a lot of the obvious parts of maybe his defensive liabilities. And now he's sitting there and he's watching Sean Murphy tonight as the all-star representative from the National League as a catcher. And Contreras has been nothing but a bumpy, not on Contreras, but it's been a bumpy road. But as we talk about Herrera real quick, I know he's not going to say it tonight, but I do hope the game plan after the deadline. So you got a couple of weeks here, but after the deadline, you trade those expiring contracts, you get some pitching, you get at least one pitcher that you can plug into the rotation. And I don't mean some old dude that's got 20 years on his arm. I'm talking about a young guy that is just coming up and will be ready for the big leagues next year. Put him in the rotation, call up Mason Wynn, put him at shortstop for the rest of the year, and Ivan Herrera is the guy sharing time. Maybe not a 50-50 split, maybe it's 60-40, but he's the one splitting time with Contreras, not Kisner. Sorry, Kiz.
I agree.
I know he's not going to say it tonight and all that, and what I just said, but I hope that's the game plan. We'll see moving forward. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We got the Gauntlet next.
Happy summer from the Johnny Londoff Chevrolet family. For over 80 years, the Londoff family has been providing the best prices and award-winning service in St. Louis. Look, at Johnny Londoff Chevrolet, buying a car is always more than just a price tag. From the moment you walk onto the showroom floor till you drive off the lot with your new or pre-owned vehicle, the Londoff Chevrolet team, they're going to treat you like family. I know this because I have been a customer for over 20 years and a friend of the family's for over 20 years. Team Londoff's goal is not just to sell you a car, too, by the way. They want to make you a customer for life. Each member of the Londoff Chevrolet team, from parts and service to finance, sales, they're committed to ensuring that their customers are always completely satisfied. And the process is so easy. It's so stress-free. They're going to get you the best vehicle for the best price. They're going to give you the most for your trade-in, and they're going to take care of your vehicle afterwards as well. They've got state-of-the-art service centers at both the original location in Florissant, Missouri, and the Londoff Autoplex located out in St. Peters. So please get into either location. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you. If you can't get there in person, get there online at londoff.com or londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Johnny Londoff Chevrolet.
3 warriors, 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you master the gauntlet?
Brought to you by Master, your hometown source for business communications for more than 30 years. Visit masstour.com.
403, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. We welcome in Steve. What's up, Steve?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
We're doing great, man. Appreciate you joining us today. First time in the Gauntlet?
Absolutely, yeah. I was on the morning one with Randy, let's say a few weeks back, and I went 50-50 on him. So won one, lost one.
All right, good man. Sounds good. Well, welcome in. We appreciate you listening. Thanks for playing today. Would you like to take on Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers, or the Anthony Stalter today?
I would love to get hockey, so I think I'm going to go after you, Anthony.
That makes sense, yeah. I figured that was coming.
My
I figured that was coming. Well
That's
done,
well
Steve.
played.
All right, good luck, Steve.
Well played.
Thanks.
All right, Anthony's going to head off to the cone of silence here. Steve, we're going to have you tell Marshy to spin that wheel.
DJ Marshy Marsh, spin that wheel!
All right, Steve, you said you wanted hockey, but did you really mean it?
No, I don't.
Okay. What category do you not want?
I would love random. I guess the one that I wouldn't want would be maybe baseball or football. Maybe football.
All right. Well, category today is going to be baseball. We're all victims of the wheel at some point. Marshy's going to rip the paper. Hopefully he doesn't do like Anthony and rip them all in half.
Yeah, don't say that thing, Marshy.
Okay. All right. So to go over the rules real quickly again here, Steve, there's 4 questions. They're each worth 2 points. If you use the options and you answer correctly, it's only worth 1 point. And, of course, if you get the question wrong, it's 0 points. Are you ready to go?
As ready as I can be.
All right. Again, the category is baseball. Question number 1. In what year did the Cardinals first win the World Series?
I got this in trivia the other... was it 22? I think it was 1922. Oh, God. I think I need the options. Dang it.
All right. Was it 1926, 1931, or 1934?
Well, I'm glad I took those options there, Riz. I'm going to go with 26 because I thought it was in the 20s. I think that makes sense.
Final answer?
Yeah, final answer.
Thank you.
Question number 2, which New York Yankees pitcher recently pitched a perfect game against the Athletics?
He was on my fantasy team. I'm just trying to remember his name. God, I'll know it when I hear it. Dang it. I'm gonna need those options. Gosh darn it.
Options are Clark Schmidt, Domingo Germán, or Luis Severino.
Germán. Gosh dang it.
Final answer?
Final answer.
All right, Steve, question number 3. Before the New York Yankees pitcher in the previous question recorded his perfect game, Felix Hernandez was the last pitcher to record a perfect game in 2012 with which team?
Was that the Mariners? Gosh, I think I need to shoot. I gotta go Mariners, I think.
Final answer?
I don't want to screw that up. Yeah, final answer.
Question number 4. The 1906 Cubs and which other team in 2001 hold the record for most wins in a single season in MLB history with 116? 116.
Was that also the Mariners? I guess I'll go with the Mariners again.
Final answer?
Yeah, I feel stupid. Okay, yeah.
All right, Steve, let's get Anthony in here from the Cone of Silence. While Anthony makes his way in, how you feeling about your performance today?
Well, Anthony better pack a lunch.
Well,
no, I have no idea.
All right, well, Anthony's coming back in here, and as they say here in the business, he's going to plug his ears in. Anthony, welcome back.
Thank you. How'd we do?
Well, how'd you do in the Cone of Silence? It's very long.
I was alone in there.
That's like the last time, too.
Yeah.
What's going on, Anthony?
Mike doesn't like me anymore. It's kind of like a backup goalie that plays well, but the teammates start scoring for him more than they do the starter. They don't like the starter anymore.
Is it like that, or is it more like when you have a birthday party, invite people, and they don't show up?
Boy, that's rough. Yeah,
I'm just asking.
That's tough.
For a friend.
Right.
All right, Anthony, based on that, though, you better pack a damn lunch. I'll tell you that much.
Yep. All right.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Category today is baseball.
Oh, okay.
In what year did the Cardinals first win the World Series?
Oh, that'd be when Schoolboy Rowe and the gang were playing.
Exactly.
So, can I have the options, please?
Yeah, was it 1926, 1931, or 1934?
What'd you say, 26, 31, or 34?
Correct.
31. Final answer.
Okay.
Question number 2. Which New York Yankees pitcher recently pitched a perfect game against the Athletics?
Domingo Germán. Final answer.
All right, Anthony. Question number 3. Before the New York Yankees pitcher in the previous question recorded his perfect game, Felix Hernandez was the last pitcher to record a perfect game in 2012 with which team?
Felix Hernandez? Okay, Rod. That would be the Seattle Mariners. Final answer.
Question number 4. The 1906 Cubs and which other team in 2001 hold the record for most wins in a single season in MLB history with 116?
Say that again, Marsh, please.
The 1906 Cubs and which other team in 2001, bless you, hold the record for most wins in a single season in MLB history with 116?
And that was 2001. Well, I'm pretty sure those are the Mariners, too. So, Seattle Mariners, final answer.
All right, let's go over this. Question number 4. The 1906 Cubs and which other team in 2001 hold the record for most wins in a single season in MLB history with 116? Steve, you said the Seattle Mariners. Anthony, you said the Seattle Mariners. Answer is?
It's the Seattle Mariners.
Neither of you needed the option.
Nice job there, Steve.
Let's go to question number 3. Before the New York Yankees pitcher in the previous question recorded his perfect game, Felix Hernandez was the last pitcher to record a perfect game in 2012 with which team? Steve, you said the Seattle Mariners. Anthony, you also said the Seattle Mariners. Answer is?
It's the Seattle Mariners.
Neither of you needed the option.
Way to go, Steve.
So we're sitting here now after 2 questions. It is 4-4. Let's go to question number 1. In what year did the Cardinals first win the World Series? Steve, you used the options and said 1926. Anthony, you also used the options. Said 1931. Answer is?
1926.
1926. Steve gets that one. He's ahead 5-4. Going into the final question. Which New York Yankees pitcher recently pitched a perfect game against the Athletics? Steve, you said Domingo Germán. Anthony, you said Domingo Germán. Answer is?
It's Domingo Germán.
But Anthony did not need the options.
Walk it off.
We got to walk off. Wow, we've got to walk off. So here's how it works, Steve. We're going to ask a tiebreaker question. Do not answer. Anthony Stalter will write down his answer. As soon as Anthony writes down his answer, we need you to answer immediately when we come to you. You understand, Steve?
Absolutely, but can't you just give me the win since you got to go with Tkachuk pretty soon here?
Can't do that, Matthew.
He'll understand.
Of all people, Matthew, the ultimate competitor, he knows we have to get a winner here today in the Gauntlet.
He's pretty good at extra time as well, overtime.
Yeah, he likes the walk-offs. All right, so here we go. Tiebreaker question. Anthony, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. In 1942, the Cardinals set the franchise record for most wins in a single season. How many games did the Cardinals win in 1942? All right, we got Anthony's answer. Steve, what's your answer?
Well, this would have to be over 100, I think. So I think 105.
We got a winner in the Gauntlet. Steve?
You have chosen wisely.
Anthony, what did you write down?
101.
Steve with 105. Marshy, what's the answer?
106.
106.
Steve, well
baby.
done, man. Well done.
All right, Steve.
Holy crap.
Well,
wow, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Nice job.
All right, Steve.
Hey, can I say one more thing?
Oh, sure.
Albert Pujols.
Hey, DJ Marsh, I love you, man.
I appreciate that.
All right,
Sorry,
Scuba Steve.
I was trying to do the whole. You screwed up my own
Yeah,
joke
my
here.
bad.
No, it's Marshy's on fire here. All right, buddy. We'll see you back in the Gauntlet tomorrow, but keep your dial here on 101 because we got Matthew Tkachuk coming up next here on 101 ESPN.
the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with former St. Louis Blue, Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. And let's head to our celebrity line. We're joined by the one and only Matthew Tkachuk. After a couple of weeks ago, we talked to Brady. Matthew Tkachuk kind enough to join us now that the season is over for him. Matthew, how you doing today? Thanks for joining us.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me, as always.
Good. Hey, Matthew, look, let's dive back a little bit towards the beginning of the season. Your first season down in South Florida, quite a change from playing up in Calgary. What were your initial feelings when you get down to Florida?
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty crazy change. I would say just how life is off the ice is pretty night and day different. But at the end of the day, like doing, what I love best and playing hockey and competing, it didn't take very long for me to really gel with the teammates. Like, they were so good, and it kind of happened like in training camp. And then once you get in the games and the season, the swing of things, like it's just, it's like you've been playing with these guys forever. So I'm so lucky to be surrounded by such great guys on that team that really made it easy for me to gel with them really fast.
So Paul Maurice coached against me when I played junior hockey. He was just a young guy, and then obviously he got started early in the NHL. But honestly, Matthew, he's always been one of the best communicators I've ever heard in the NHL. Watching his pressers are always a lot of fun. But playing for him, how did you like Paul Maurice as a coach?
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. I mean, there's no secret that he's a very big reason why I've become a lot better as a player. Everybody talks about, as a player, being put in the right situations and, all that, and, which is very true. He treated me great and did put me in a lot of great positions to succeed. But I think it was a lot bigger than that. And, yeah, I mean, I can sit here right now, like after the way the season went and kind of not knowing a whole lot about him or, some of the players going into the season. And at the end of the day, I'm sure he made every single player in that locker room, including myself, a lot better hockey player. So we owe him a lot for that.
Matthew Tkachuk joining us right now in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Matthew, what was the most challenging part about reaching the Cup this year?
I just don't think people realize like what each player, probably goes through to play, or what you have to go through just to win a series, or even just win a game in the series. Luck is a big part of it. Health is a big part of it. Just riding the positive momentum is a big part of it. And but I think the hardest part for us was getting in, let alone the playoffs. Besides the playoffs itself, like just getting in was the hardest part, I thought. So playing playoff hockey since January 1st, basically to get in, and we were really behind the eight ball. We were 11 or 12 points back with a month or two until playoffs. So, and we knew we had such a great team and such a great group of guys, and the talent level is ridiculous on that team. And we just had to get in, and that was going to be the hardest part, and we did, and we were able to do what we did.
So you get in, and your reward for that is the Boston Bruins, who are coming off the greatest season in NHL history. What's the mindset going into that series, and what's the mindset when you guys get down 3-1 in that series?
Yeah, even, I don't think people really realize it too much, but we clinched before the last game of the season, and we were playing Carolina, and I forget what the scenario was, but if we beat Carolina, we were playing New Jersey or something. We weren't playing Boston, and nobody wanted to play Boston, right? Best team, like you said, in NHL history. And it was our first game of not really playing that intense playoff hockey that we played for the last few months. And we kind of let our foot off the gas that last game. I mean, I think it was just maybe because we felt we were in, or I don't know what it was, but and we lost to Carolina, and our reward for that was, like you said, playing Boston, the greatest team that's regular team in NHL history, and playing there at the start. The atmosphere was great to start the series. They came out flying. They played a great game one. They took it to us, and then that game two is kind of where things started to turn for us a little bit, where we got the momentum, and no, I wouldn't say momentum. I think it was more confidence that we can beat these guys. We beat them in Boston, a place that we got smacked every game during the regular season. And we came back to Florida, and they're such a great hockey team. They took it to us for 2 games, and we're down 3-1 going back to Boston. It's like, oh boy, like this is, men against boys for the most part so far. And our mindset, and starting with Paul's message and everything was, guys, there is no chance that they want to come back down to Florida right now for Game 6. Like, the season's over in their mind. So who cares about the season or the series or whatever? Let's just make them come back on another flight down to Florida. And that was our mindset going into that Game 5, and we beat them. And then they had to come back down to Florida, and we beat them again. And then we went back up to Boston and won the series. So it's kind of those small messages that help us get momentum and get our kind of get the ball rolling for us.
Matthew, your dad was one of the toughest players I ever played against for a lot of reasons. He's so skilled offensively. He was such a big, strong hockey player, and he was mean, too. And you didn't know what version you were getting of Walt on any given night. I saw a lot of that in you in these playoffs. And just wondering what your mindset was in that Boston series, because not only did you contribute on the scoreboard, but it's like you flicked a switch, too, and you targeted a few players and started to physically get into their kitchen as well. And what was your mindset there?
Well, I've always prided myself on that type of player. Like, I can play any whichever style you would like, and I'm comfortable in any type of game, no matter how the game is going. So I think in that Boston series, a lot of what we were, I wouldn't say targeting, but a big part of our game was the forecheck and getting on their D. And we talked about, Jamie, in playoffs, like, it might not show in game, 2, 3, and 4, or 5 even, that some of their D are getting worn down or starting to turn over pucks, or, it's starting to affect them. And we played it like we got to wear these guys out for that one moment in Game 7 where it's going to turn for us. And it took till Game 7 in overtime for that moment. So I felt that our team and especially, my line, with Bennett leading the way there was really, really, really impactful. I thought he was, probably the best player in that series for us. And it took to Game 7 for us to wear him down, and it worked. And we were moving on after that. And I think just learning that and playing that's definitely not an easy style of play. And then we go into the Toronto series, and we wanted to mimic that exactly. I know the puck wasn't going in like it was for myself in the Toronto series as it was, in the Boston series. So to me, I just kind of looked myself in the mirror, like, how can I impact this game in a positive way for my team? And so I was more physical in the Toronto series and probably a little more in your face than I was in the Boston series. But it's just kind of how the way each game goes. You never know how it's going to go. But I think, myself and my line were able to play any style.
Panthers star Matthew Tkachuk joining us right now in the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. Matthew, listening to you talk about wearing down opponents each round, especially when it came to whether it was Boston or Toronto who he played, it reminds me a lot of how the Blues did it in 2019, and I'm sure you watched all those games as well. Is that what it takes to win a Stanley Cup or to get to a Stanley Cup, to physically wear teams down? Is it different in the Cup run as opposed to the regular season?
It definitely is different than the regular season, but I think all teams are different. Like, I don't think I think that hockey and playoffs, you still needs a certain type of mindset to be successful, but I wouldn't say it's always, I don't think that Tampa, they're not like a huge, heavy, hitting team, but they're in your face and they don't give you time, and they beefed up a little bit, and when they beefed up, they won their cups, so they learned, and I think that's still the template for winning. And yeah, like, the Blues, I remember, watching the Blues when they won their Stanley Cup. That was what made them successful. They were a big, heavy physical team that just wore you down. And it took, till Game 6 or 7 in every series for them to win. So I think that's what it takes. I think that we were definitely trending that way, our team. And then, unfortunately, there was obviously a bunch of injuries that kind of happened towards the Carolina series and into the Vegas series that hurt a little bit. But like I said, that's playoffs. That's, it takes some luck to be successful in playoffs as well. And And, you got to be lucky and be healthy, and that's a big part of it.
Matthew, you became Mr. Clutch in these playoffs, and, it's not easy for guys to be clutch in the big moments. So for you as a player, like when the lights are the brightest, are you sitting there going, okay, this is my time now? Or are you just instinctively continuing to play the way you always play and the puck just finds you? Because I always believe that the guys who perform in those moments, they are a different breed. They want the puck.
Yeah, you definitely, it's a little bit of both. Like it's, in your head, you're not overthinking it. You're doing everything that you've always done and playing the same way, but there's a little bit of a switch where it's like, okay, this is the moment you've dreamed about your whole life, like go make it happen sort of thing. And after that, it's instincts and it's all your preparation. Like it's all your practice that's led into it. It's all, it's all the workouts you do in the summer to be, conditioned enough to still be playing at a high level in the overtimes and all the little things add up to it. But I don't think you're changing your game too much. You're not overdoing it or forcing plays. But I think the one thing that I learned this playoffs more than previous playoffs for me is, I think when I was younger, I would maybe oversimplify it a bit. You don't want to, make that, make sure you get every puck in deep, all the little stuff that everybody says, that's still very important. But I think this playoffs, what I wanted was I wanted to be that guy that made that play, that made the difference. Whether it was, sometimes it could go the other way where you try to make a play and it might, end up in your end for a little bit longer. But I don't know. Like I just wanted to be that guy that made that difference and want to make that positive difference and make that play when everybody else is maybe gripping their stick or, I don't know, maybe not forcing it. I've been, what the hell? Why not try to make that play? So that was kind of my mindset this year in the playoffs.
All right, last thing I got for you here, and as a former player, we go through injuries. We battle through almost anything we possibly can to get a chance to lift that cup. And I know you had a big injury in the final, and you attempted to play through it. Just for our listeners who maybe don't understand how it works in the playoffs, specifically in the NHL, how hard was that? Because you had a broken clavicle, I believe, or a broken sternum, and you went out and played through that. How hard is that?
Yeah, so I heard at the beginning of Game 3, and when you get a little bumper bruise during the game, whether it's something broken or just a bruise or whatever, like you can pretty much most of the time get through that game just based on your adrenaline and everything. I mean, I think most NHL players are playing through stuff during that game. It really is all adrenaline and I mean, I couldn't really, even though I had a lot of adrenaline going, I still couldn't really lift the puck or anything. And, I guess kind of got lucky at the end of Game 3 with being able to just tap one in and with an open net. So then we ended up winning in overtime. So I actually felt I didn't do terrible during that Game 3 when I was injured. But the next morning when you wake up, it really hits you. And that's when you probably feel it the most. And I don't know, it was the Stanley Cup Finals. I had the mindset that, you're going to have to basically carry me off the ice if I wasn't going to play. And I think most guys would have that. And I attempted to play in Game 4. And, as the game wore down, I just was playing less and less just based on, I couldn't really do anything out there. And I think it was probably showing, which is unfortunate. And, I think the hardest part is going into Game 5 knowing that the best thing for the team is probably for you not to play. That's the hardest part. And, unfortunately, that's, kind of what led to me not playing that game. But, I can hold my head high knowing I did absolutely everything I can to try to play through it. And it's unfortunate. And, I think now I'm just it's not even, you can't even put into words how motivated I am to get back there and kind of change that ending for us.
Well, you did awesome, man. And I'm really proud of everything you've done, you and your brother. But this year in the playoffs, was really proud to watch you and your success. So get healthy, get back to it. And I can't wait to see what you're doing next year with the Florida Panthers.
Yeah, thank you, guys. A few weeks off the ice here, and then we'll get those hands going again. All right, Jamie?
We get you. The silky mitts coming up.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Matthew. That's Matthew Tkachuk here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. And for those that don't know, Matthew and Brady do a lot of work with Jamie in the offseason.
Yeah, they have
Jamie,
for years now.
Yeah, Jamie puts them through specific drills, and they request that. And I know that you're a proud papa when it comes to those guys. It's
just everything they do, man. It's just they work so hard. They work so hard. So for kids who just want to have things given to them, like, well, their dad's an NHL, or they're so talented. No, you don't see what's going on. These two kids from 14 and 11 years old have nonstop 5 o'clock in the morning on the ice, 4 o'clock in the afternoon on the ice, then a team practice at night, then the next morning back at it again. And now in the summertime, they do all their workouts, and they still carve out an hour, 2 hours a week, to where we get on the ice and work on very specific skills. All those little things, Matthew, doing in and around the net, the little one-handed deflections, the through-the-leg stuff, all of that stuff, they asked to work on that. So it's crazy. Not often are you impressed by gentlemen like this in your lifetime, but I have nothing but praise for these two guys.
When are they going to reach out to Anthony for the clear it cam?
Yeah.
Or are they too good for...
Marsh, that's a good question.
Brady said that he'd think about it.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Hey,
that's great. That's
excellent.
Awesome.
Let's go. And we got a date in 10 years.
Boy, things are really coming together.
Hey, he'll be a wily vet. He'll be a wily vet.
There you go. All right, it's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. When we come back, we're going to hand out some Cardinals tickets.
Yes.
Take a couple mic drops, too, from you on our mic drop theme. What do you want to hear from Mo tonight as he addresses the media? Martin Kilcoyne specifically. That's all next on 101 ESPN. Jamie, I was asked the other day about a float down option, and I'm like, what do you mean, like going floating?
I'm sure you had the answer for that, Anthony.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I figured, go down to the lake, the float down. Apparently it has something to do with our guy, Stewie. So Stewie's on the line right now. Stewie, what in the world is a float down option? I thought it was going floating.
Anthony, you go down a river, you're sitting there in a canoe, and you float down.
That's what I thought.
Simple, isn't it? Well, this is really good. Some people are worried, look, should I lock in the rate, buy a house now? Should I float? The market's going up and down. The Federal Reserve this, inflation that. I don't know what to do. Well, the good news is if you lock the rate with us and rates go down more than 0.25%, we can automatically drop it for you. If you end up closing the loan with us, which we'd love for you to do, later on, rates go down. You can refinance for free and go down either way. Whatever you do, you're protected. Either take the canoe and go downstream or refinance in the future. Easy, safe, protects you, and you have no worries that the rates are going to continue to rise.
Well, make sure you got your life jacket on, and that life jacket is calling our guy Stewie.
Nice
As
job.
you float down the river, give our guy Stewie a call. His personal cell phone number is 314-324-4440.
Again, 314-324-4440. Or, Jamie,
Google the Bagel Loan.
Thanks, Stewie.
Have a good night, guys.
NMLS number 226715.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Last night, Vlad Guerrero Jr. defeated Randy Arozarena in the Home Run Derby final, 25-23. He joins his dad as the only father-son duo to win the title. The All-Star Game festivities continue tonight. You can catch all the coverage right here on 101 ESPN. Pre-game starts at 6. Tomorrow, City SC takes on LAFC. Start time for that is at 9:30. We just talked with Matthew Tkachuk of the Florida Panthers. If you missed that interview or anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the 101 mobile app. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. The Sports Center update is brought to you by... The Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find your roads and shop 24/7 at Londoff.com and LondoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Hey guys, I'd like to hear your thoughts on, I was looking through previous draft picks, and since 2015, only 3 Cardinals draftees have seen MLB innings. I think that's pretty amazing. You know, that's what, an eight-year span, and you know, it's not like the 3 of them are lighting it up and going to be on the Cardinals Hall of Fame wall anytime soon. Let me know your thoughts on that. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Well, Robert, appreciate you. Thank you for leaving a mic drop. This is why you're in the spot that you're at. Right there, what Robert just said. We could talk about the miscues in free agency. We could talk about the Marcell Ozuna trade and what you gave up. We talk about Randy Arozarena until we're blue in the face. You missing in the draft is the death knell for organizations. I don't care what sport it is. If you don't draft well, if you don't draft your foundation, and you're not willing to do what the Phillies owner did after almost a decade of drafting like horse bleep, then you're going to be screwed. You're going to have a season like this because you fall back on nothing. You don't. It's like having a house built on an unsteady foundation. You can't draft poorly and outrun your mistakes for very long. So what Robert's talking about, it kind of goes hand in hand, Jamie, with what we talked about the other day about the first round picks not panning out in that 2014 to 20 whatever window. Flaherty hurt, didn't become an ace for very long. Jake Woodford, Dakota Hudson, I'll throw in the Matthew Liberatore trade. When those players don't work out and you're not willing to sign Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper and Trey Turner and Nicholas Castellanos and Zach Wheeler and throw money at you, big-time money at your problems, eventually the floor will come out. And that, I think, is what one of the biggest issues right now with the Cardinals.
Yeah, they had that gap, and I think that gap will forever be talked about. Not forever, at least in the next handful of years, because...
Until they correct it.
Well, they corrected it a little bit. They had the Gorman, Walker, Carlson, like they did Mason Wynn. Like they've had some good drafts here in the last 2, 3, 4 years, but it's that one gap that they didn't have great drafting. And that's rearing its ugly head right now because they drafted pitchers in that span. Those pitchers are not Major League Baseball rotation pitchers.
Yeah.
That's Woodford, that's Hudson. Who else is in that? I'm missing one guy.
Well, Flaherty, but he's been hurt.
Flaherty, but there's also another guy, too.
I threw Liberatore in there because, for me...
there's another guy, too, but that's okay. It doesn't matter.
Well,
you get my point.
Sandy Alcantara?
Well, no, not him. Not that guy. Anyways, my point of the matter is that you did have...
Zach Thompson.
A couple of years.
Zach Thompson's the other guy, was a first-round pick, I think, in 2019, 2018.
He's a reliever. No, wait, he's a starter again. No, wait, he's a reliever. No, wait, he's a starter again. That's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, big-time problem.
Cardinals got to correct that. They've got to do a better job moving forward of identifying things that they need. So pitchers, they have to be pitcher heavy on their drafting and their trading for prospects. This is what they've got to address first and foremost.
Yeah.
Because I think positionally, they're fine. They're not great. They're fine. You had a couple of Hall of Famers in your infield. You've got steady guys in your middle infield, and you've got Mason Wynn in waiting. Your outfield is fine.
You got infielders.
Yeah, infielders playing
play
outfield.
everywhere.
You've got DHs playing the outfield. You've got catchers playing DH. And
how many outfielders do they actually have? 2?
Yeah, by position
that are available.
2. Yep.
Yeah, they got 2 outfielders.
Yeah, so there's your problem.
2 true outfielders. That's interesting.
Well done.
Anyways, all right, 101 ESPN. Hey, that's us. We have your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to next Tuesday night's Budweiser Bash for Cardinals and Marlins. Next week's Bud Bash game features a limited edition Brad Thompson bobblehead. Text in now, 314-399-9646, if you know who hit this off BT at one point.
Long fly ball, and it's on the way up with this long shot off the scoreboard. Wow. We mentioned it. When he hits him, he can hit him a long way. How about that one? Hit it off his face out there. My goodness.
My goodness always gets me from Danny Mac.
I don't know if Danny Mac had to add that extra
My goodness.
spice at the end of
It just
that.
came out. He was shocked that this one hitter
hit
one off his face off the Jumbotron, off our guy Brad Thompson.
It's quite the shot. That's
It certainly was. So who
Both of
hit
them.
that?
The home run and the commentary.
Who hit that home run? 314-399-9646. If you're the 101st texter to the Air Comfort Service text line, you're going to win the Budweiser Bash tickets for Cardinals Marlins, and you can get all the details on this season series of Budweiser Bash Cardinals games now at cardinals.com/promotions. Nolan Arenado made some interesting comments that
he wants out.
Okay, well, I think that's one version. It's one version. Another version is, hey, he's got a no-trade clause, so he ain't going anywhere. Which version are we buying? We'll talk about it next on 101 ESPN.
The MLB plays on ESPN. Sunday, Angels and Astros. Pregame at 5, first pitch at 6:10. Your home for the MLB is 101 ESPN.
I just reached out to Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum today to talk to them about service that need to be done on the Pathfinder. I'm looking forward to driving out there and seeing the guys out there, and they do a great job. And so I'm going out there tomorrow and going to check out, maybe I'll check out some new vehicles too while I'm out there. They got 700 vehicles, in fact, over 700 vehicles on the lot ready for you to choose from, whether you're looking at brand new Nissans or you're looking at certified pre-owned vehicles. They've got them at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum and all in one spot too. They don't have multiple dealerships. You got to drive around, or they're like, hey, we're going to search for this car and that car, and it's going to take a couple of weeks. They've got vehicles on the lot, whether you're looking at new Nissan Pathfinders or pre-owned Pathfinders or Rogues, Titans, Altimas. What you're looking for, Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, they've got it for you. 30-day return promise, and they're the home of the free nationwide lifetime warranty. Give a little peace of mind when it comes to purchasing your next new Nissan. So maybe I'll see you out there tomorrow. It's Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. Tell them Stalter sent you.
Get ready for the Diamonds Direct Midsummer Savings Event. Starting Friday, you can take an extra 20% off virtually everything. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, and more. You get Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable price, plus an extra 20% off. Thousands of engagement mountings, fashion styles, and wedding bands included. Plus, acclaimed jewelry designers will be in store with an expanded selection. All the latest styles and trends, all on sale. You can't miss this. Diamonds Direct's sizzling summer store-wide sale. Starting Friday. Get details at diamondsdirect.com.
Open up your 101 mobile app for your chance to win tickets to 50 Cent with special guest Busta Rhymes, July 25th at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. Tickets for the Final Lap Tour 2023 are on sale now. But we've got your chance to score free tickets for the show. Get all the ticket details and get entered to win those free tickets to 50 Cent and Busta Rhymes right now at either 101ESPN.com or on your 101 mobile app.
I don't know exactly where, we're going to go, but, we got to really, if we want to make a run, we really got to take off in the second half. And, our schedule isn't as hard or as complicated as it was in the first half. And I hopefully that can pay dividends, But that remains to be seen. We got a lot of work to do, but hopefully this break will give us recharged and ready to go. There's some things this group does that's very good, and there's probably some things that we probably need to add, but, at the same time, like I said, hopefully we can get recharged and see what we can make a run.
So that was Nolan Arenado when he was in Seattle, or has been in Seattle for the All-Star break, and that was part of a media scrum that included our guy, Derek Gould of the Post-Dispatch and STLtoday.com. It also included John Heyman, who tweeted this out this morning that certainly caught a lot of people's attention. He said, while Cardinals star Nolan Arenado would be surprised to be traded, the Cards almost never sell, especially big stars, he conceded he couldn't be shocked the way things are going in St. Louis. Arenado also, again, as part of that media scrum, was talking to Derek Gould, who didn't get the same impression from what Nolan Arenado was talking about. So why don't we just play the clips and you determine for yourself whether or not you think that Nolan Arenado expects the Cardinals not only to be sellers, but also including him as well. Here's Nolan Arenado on if he hopes to stay with the Cardinals. This was his response.
Yeah, absolutely. I opted in for a reason, right? Yeah. So, there's a reason why I opted in. And, if I didn't feel that way, I definitely wouldn't have done that. So
to see it through the years here.
Yeah, I don't know how this goes. It's a business. I don't know how it goes, but, there's a reason why I opted in. And I do love St. Louis. My family loves it. So we just want to turn it around.
All right, so there you go. Straight from him himself. This is Nolan Arenado on if he would be surprised if he was part of trade rumors.
It is a business, right? I've been traded once, and I think that shocked a lot of people at that time. So, no, I guess it doesn't surprise me anymore what happens in this game. But it would still be surprising seeing certain things happen. But I understand that there's certain things that probably should.
All right, so I'm going to read one of the other tweets that John Heyman had. Cardinal superstar Nolan Arenado bracing for a sell-off, even one that may include him. Based on what Nolan Arenado said there.
Hey, Anthony, sometimes you got to cut bait. If Wayne, listen to me. If Wayne Gretzky can be traded, anyone can be traded.
Sure. Yeah. Well, Nolan Arenado has already been traded once, so that makes sense.
He's already on the move.
He's already used to it.
Must be a reason that he's being traded so many times.
Right. Well, he's not getting it done in the playoffs, Jamie. You know that.
Well, he's right there.
So John Heyman with a little clickbait, I think.
What? Not our guy, John.
John also wants to read this article, so
yeah,
it makes sense.
Here's one huge problem with the theory.
Is it an NTC?
It is, Anthony, and that, my friend, as you know, stands for No Trade Clause. No Trade Clause!
No trade.
Like I did there, right?
No days off.
No Trade Clause. Him and Paul Goldschmidt both have those bad boys, as they should. They have earned the No Trade Clause. So, and look, let's just be honest here for a second. Why would trading Nolan Arenado be part of your getting better process? I know the haul that you could get. I understand what you could get. But you're also you got a huge hole at third base. And we saw Nolan Gorman play there the other day, and he booted the ball a couple times there.
He's learning.
He is learning. But I'm going to be a little bit presumptuous here, but I'm going to predict that Nolan Gorman is never as good as Nolan Arenado is defensively.
Oh, not yet.
Yeah, not ever, actually, Anthony. In fact, not many third basemen in the game of baseball ever have been as good defensively as Nolan Arenado.
You just got a horrible attitude today, and I don't understand why you don't like Nolan Gorman.
I love Nolan Gorman. Just
nothing but great to you.
He's not as good defensively as Nolan Arenado. To me, Nolan Arenado is part of the retool. You've got a lockdown guy at third base. Has he had an off year from a defensive standpoint? Yes, because we're so used to watching him making miraculous plays down there at third base.
Right.
His offense is steadying out here. He's been hitting the ball really well recently, so I just don't think trading him is part of the solution.
No, I don't either. I have been on record by saying I think that at least entertaining trading Paul Goldschmidt to see if he'd be willing to accept that, I think makes a lot of sense. Trading Nolan Arenado does not make sense whatsoever. And you may ask yourself, well, why? What's the difference? There's a huge difference. Nolan Arenado is 32. He just turned 32 in April. Paul Goldschmidt will be 36 in September. He's got the rest of this year and next year under contract with the Cardinals. I've talked about this with Jose Abreu. Jose Abreu signed a deal with Houston, and he's turned around a little bit, but he's not been good. He's 36. At some point, the production, it will fall off a cliff. Goldschmidt's having a good year now. Maybe he'll have a great year next year. You going to resign him? You're going to resign him for 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah.
When does the production fall off the cliff? I realize that you could trade him and get nothing. I get it. You could also retain him, and his production falls off cliff, and then he's not worth what you could get for him now. Arenado's a different story. Arenado's 32. He's got, a couple more years left in his prime.
And look, if you're the Cardinals, you're intelligent about this. If you don't get an absolute haul for Paul Goldschmidt, who, by the way, would have to waive his no-trade clause, then you evaluate, halfway through next season. And if Goldie's still playing like he is right now, you offer him 1 year deal.
Yep.
And you 1 year deal it into retirement. If he wants to be a Cardinal that bad, you're going to give him respectable money, but I'm not going more than 1 year at a time because of the exact reason of the drop-off. Because as soon as you go 2 years, now you end up where the first year's okay, and then the second year, you're like, yeah. And Paul Goldschmidt's a smart guy. He's made a ton of money playing this game. His 1 year deal's at whatever it'll be, $20 million-ish, 25-ish in there. He's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
If he really wants to be a Cardinal, he will be.
That's Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. What's trending is next.
We want your insight and honest opinions on the world of sports. Use the mic drop feature in the 101 ESPN app. Say it and send it to us. Now in the App Store or Google Play.
Proudly serving the community for over 40 years, Scott Lee Heating Company is a locally owned and operated HVAC company and a Mitsubishi Electric elite contractor. Our experienced team members are dedicated to providing the best heating and air conditioning solutions for your home or business. Scott Lee Heating is proud to be veteran-owned, and we're committed to bringing professionalism and value to every job. Trust us to keep your home comfortable all year round. Visit ScottLeeHeating.com today for all of your HVAC needs.
Hey, Delsing here, and my show Golf with Jay Delsing is brought to you, as always, by Darty Business Solutions. It's Golf with Jay Delsing, Sunday mornings at 9 for all your golf needs. Reach me at jdelsinggolf.com.
What's trending in the world of sports? The Fast Lane has you covered. What's trending now?
Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate to Goodwill and get a half-price Cardinals ticket voucher.
5:03, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie with another shocked microphone, potentially. You all right there, buddy?
Yeah, I don't know what.
Here comes Mike Ryder, who's going to help fix it. Yep, that's what I tried to do yesterday. And he told me, Ryder, I tried to do that yesterday. He goes, get your hands off my mic.
Don't ever touch my mic again.
Then he called HR. I thought it was highly inappropriate.
Don't ever touch my mic again.
Saying, don't touch my mic again. Congratulations to, is it Chris? Colin. Colin from St. Louis won the tickets for the Cardinals Marlins Bud Bash giveaway. He had the correct answer to who hit this home run.
Long fly ball, and it's on the way up with this long shot off the scoreboard. Wow. Russell Branyan. We mentioned it. When he hits him, he can hit him a long way. How about that one? Hit it off his face out there. My goodness.
Gets me every time. My goodness.
My goodness.
So, yeah, it was Russell Branyan that hit the home run off of BT that elicited such a great response from the one and only Dan McLaughlin. All right, time for What's Trending.
All right, gentlemen, of course, last night, Vlad Guerrero Jr. wins the home run derby against Randy Arozarena. I want to talk about a certain somebody.
Who of us won? Marsh, tell us. Who had Vlad?
Oh, I don't think any of us did.
Oh.
Because we're really good at predicting. However, there was one person that absolutely did not win, and I know for a fact that Jamie Rivers is excited about it. Pete Alonso, gone. First round.
What a
See
dork.
ya.
What a dork. Like, just watching him as he's, like, trying to be in, like, he's super serious, and he's like, dude, I'm like, dude, everybody else was having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Arenado and Garcia are, like, hugging it out, and Garcia's holding Arenado's daughter, and they're like, everybody's having fun, the music's going, they're not taking themselves too seriously.
Right.
And this guy is, like, meditating over in the corner, like, Pete, we know you can just smash baseballs. We know. You're a hell of a baseball player. You really are. But, dude, lighten up.
Yeah, it's not the World Series.
It's just like, it's his dork factor is at like a 10. on the scale, and that's the highest one.
Yeah.
And then I love that his pitcher was pitching him low and outside. He's like, I'm going to make you work, Pete. Pete Alonso in the home run
I'm going
derby.
to work the count on you.
He did. He was painting the corners. He jammed him one time. Then he threw down and away, and Alonso almost missed the ball one time. He had to go like one-handed to like try. I was like, that's my pitcher.
Try to get him out.
Give that guy a Cardinals jersey.
No kidding.
Put him in the
Good call.
rotation.
Yeah, very. I didn't think that was necessary, but well done.
Hey, come on, he did a good job. Hey, look at what he did to Pete Alonso.
That's true. Yeah, we could use him.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Either way, I can't even remember the text messages I sent to you guys, but I do know that I was very happy that Pete Alonso was not advanced.
Something about farting.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had the look on his face like he just bit into a fart.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Well done, Jamie. Who annoys you more, Pete Alonso or Russell Wilson?
Pete Alonso.
From like that standpoint.
Pete Alonso. By far.
No awareness, goofy.
He's never won anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Russell Wilson, at least he has a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He's got a very attractive wife, a very successful wife. Not that means anything, but it means something to me.
It means something to her.
Yeah.
She's successful.
And I don't even know, like Pete Alonso, maybe he's got a great wife too, or maybe he's not married. I don't know.
He's got a great head of hair.
That, by the way, suspect head of hair. I'll tell you that much. I got a good look at that head of hair, and suspect. That's all I'm going to say.
Russell Wilson is like a dork, where Pete Alonso is a tryhard.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
All right.
I don't know.
But both are very annoying.
If I was going out to have a beer with one of them, I feel like Russell Wilson might be less annoying, because I feel like Pete Alonso would be that guy that's trying too hard to be cool all the time. Where Russell Wilson just knows maybe he's not cool.
Okay, but how do you...
Like, if I was doing a HIIT workout, I'd want to do it with Russell Wilson. If I was doing a heavy lifting workout, I'd want to do it with Pete Alonso.
I wouldn't want to work out with Pete Alonso at all. Not at all.
When you talk about
cleats, that's dangerous. What if he slips and falls?
That's true. But when you talk about having a beer with Russell Wilson as opposed to Pete,
you'd be having an
much of
IPA,
that,
for sure.
Yeah, but how much of that are you hoping that Russ brings his significant other?
Well, we have to. You got a nice little glass of champagne for her.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's what I thought.
We're on the same page.
Yeah, go ahead,
Anthony, I'm only human. That's all there is to it.
So, Elliot Friedman is on NHL Network saying it's more likely that Vladimir Tarasenko takes a one-year deal. He bets on himself to play well and sees what happens with the cap next year. Obviously, we know it's going up, or it should be going up. The Senators, the Hurricanes, the Sharks are in on him. The Panthers are around as well. Nashville has been in and out. What are your guys' thoughts on Vladimir Tarasenko potentially taking a one-year deal with a team?
I think it might be all he's getting offered.
You don't fire your agent for no reason.
You don't fire two agents for no reason.
You're not hearing the dollar amount or the offer.
Yeah.
Or the offers.
You're thinking something different of yourself than what your agent's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Look, the Vladimir Tarasenko, I don't think he or his agent at the time realized what the ancillary damage could be by being so open and honest about how unhappy he was here in St. Louis. You're looking at now teams going, oof. Do I want a long-term commitment with this guy? He's had injury issues in the past. He had a healthy year last year. Okay, that's fine. But he really kind of disappeared in the playoffs. It wasn't a great fit in the Rangers system. So what do we want to offer him? I'll give him a one-year deal, and if he's everything we've ever wanted him to be, well, we can work on an extension halfway through the season. Other teams have gone and done their shopping. They've gone and shopped for their high-end vehicles. And now they're looking for their mid-tier. And unfortunately, Vladimir Tarasenko falls somewhere in between that. I think the player still believes that he's a $6, $7, $8 million player. I think the league is telling him he's a $4 or $5 million player.
Yeah.
I think the player thinks he's a 3 or 4 year deal guy. I think the league is telling him he's a 1 or 2 year deal guy.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be interesting. At some point, someone's got to blink.
Good luck, Vladdy. Have fun.
Guys, tonight, MLB All-Star Game. Who you got? We have Zach Gallen, Starting for the National League, Nolan Arenado, of course, representing the Cardinals, the lone Cardinal in this year's MLB All-Star Game. Who wins this year? And, who's getting some base hits? I know we're not playing Beat the Streak today. It'd be a little difficult to do that with, mixing and matching and all
Nolan
that stuff.
Arenado, MVP.
Okay.
American League 4, National League 3. That's my prediction. Luis Robert will not play, by the way.
Why did you scratch him?
I didn't scratch him. He scratched himself.
Anthony, what the heck?
Apparently, he felt a little tweak in the home run derby, and he's out. He's day to day right now. So sorry about that.
What did you guys think of the home run derby last night? Like, did you like how?
I don't like the format.
Tightness in his right calf, by the way. So
I don't like the format either. I like the old format with the 10 outs.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I prefer the old format as well.
The timing, so
it's fine. I like watching the players get like Jamie was saying, the non-Pete Alonso players. I like watching them get into it and just kind of be kids almost, and I thought that was cool too with Garcia, and
it's awesome.
I mean, that stuff is fun. You get to see the
players
personalities.
Are recording each other.
Yeah.
They're like whooping it up.
Albert last year, they surrounded him. That is what I like.
What I don't like about the format, and I don't have a solution, so this is the one thing I hate in life, is I hate people bringing up problems without solutions.
Maybe we can craft one.
Maybe we can.
Bring it up.
We can, spitball this here. I don't like how a player can exhaust himself just having to get through the first round.
I agree. That's why I think it should go back to 10 outs. Yeah, I like the bracket style that they have, but I don't like just the constant 3 minutes. You're just constantly going. And then by the last round, these guys are all tired. I mean, granted, they're still hitting 20 plus bombs in the round, but
like J-Rod, I feel like he tuckered out a little bit. He hit 41 in that first round, which he kind of had to advance. Like he definitely had to put up a big number because he had Pete Alonso. So he couldn't let off the throttle, knowing that Alonso can get to 30. Yeah. He get to 35, depending on what kind of a day it's been.
And depending what pitcher he's facing that
depending,
night.
Depending, you're right. If you don't have your ace in against him, ace named Myers, Coach Myers, he threw that nasty breaking stuff. He had Uncle Charlie out there at one point.
He did.
But, he goes 41 dingers. And then the next round, he's kind of like, whoa, he's tired out. I don't know what the solution is to that. But I feel like I guess it's fair to everybody. They all have to deal with the same crap, except for if you have an opponent like who had Mookie Betts in that first round.
That was who did square off against Betts?
Whoever it was beat.
That was Vlad Guerrero Jr., right?
No, it wasn't him.
No, you're right.
But my point with that is, you knew Mookie Betts wasn't going to beat anybody. Not because he's not a good baseball player. He's not a massive individual with just power at the end of his bat. Like, he has to really muscle through to get it over the wall. And some of these other guys like Luis Robert and Vlad Guerrero, they just got to extend the bat and get a hold of the ball, and it's flying. So whoever had him in the first round knew they only had to get so many home runs, and they could take their foot off the gas.
Right. Are you sure it wasn't Vlad Guerrero?
It was Vlad Guerrero.
It was Vlad?
Yeah.
My bad.
Anyways.
Yeah, you're right. It was Robert versus Rauschman. It was Alonso versus J-Rod, Betts versus Vlad, and then obviously Garcia versus Rosarina in the former Cardinals.
Thanks, Dad has a great solution, actually. Says that it's the fastest to 15 home runs. So you start the clock, and you got to get to 15 home runs for the first 2 rounds, and then in the final, it's full out, all out, highest number.
See, I don't like the constant, because, I mean, they were pitching, boom, home run. I'm like, I can't even keep up. No, I want to see.
You don't like the constant pounding.
Here's the thing. I do like the constant,
because they were pounding last night. I mean, at one point, the kids in the outfield were getting hit with balls left and right. I never thought that was very safe for those kids.
I would like to go back. You go back to the 10 outs. That way a guy can collect himself for like a second. And then we can start seeing like these 500-foot moonshots rather than, I mean, some of the guys were barely getting to 440. They needed 2 440 shots to get the full minute.
Right.
Some of the, like Randy Rosarena, he didn't get the full minute. If he would have had a full minute, he only got the 30 seconds in that final round. He would have then maybe beat Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in the fun.
Do you know, I love the passion that you guys have for this home run derby. The passion that is just...
I don't like when you do this,
I don't
Anthony.
like how much you don't care.
It literally is just mocking us, and I've had enough. It's a fast lane here
Don't
on
you
101
dare.
ESPN.
No.
If you are in the market for replacement windows, please go visit my friends at windowworld.com. They are certainly one of the best in the business. In fact, they're ranked number 1 in number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. Let's not forget that they offer a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. And one thing about the Window World window is it is not your average window. It's got a double strength glass that gives it a strength that you just don't see in ordinary replacement windows. And what that does is, 1, it minimizes breakage. 2, in the summertime, keeps the heat out. 3, in the wintertime, keeps the cold out. That means more money in your wallet, way better efficiency overall for you. And Window World is also offering 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. And that falls into the customer satisfaction category, to which they pride themselves on that. So please give them a call at 314-993-1800. Again, that number's 314-993-1800, or you can look them up at windowworld.com.
What I want to hear from Mo tonight is that he messed up, that he should have been more active this offseason, taking a better look at the pitching, maybe taking a step away from the analytics side of the baseball and more on what's right there in front of us and what the Cardinals' needs are. The Cardinal way is dead, in my opinion. I think that phrase should be dead. I think they need to come up with something better or something to rally the troops, rally the fan base, and right the ship, as some would say. So tonight, what I want to hear, as if I was Mo, is I messed up.
All right, that was Andrew. He echoes some of the same sentiments that a lot of people have had throughout the course of the show today. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. And the reason why we're talking about this is because Martin Kilcoyne of Fox 2 tweeted out earlier today that Mo will be talking to the media. Well, not the media, Martin Kilcoyne specifically. It's a exclusive that he did with Fox 2. And as Martin tweets out, he says, tonight after the All-Star game, John Mozeliak on mistakes made, fan frustration with the franchise, and anger directed at him. So we threw it out there. What do you want to hear him say? Now, Andrew said, I want to hear him say that he made a mistake. He admits mistakes. It's kind of a theme. It's kind of a theme with the Cardinals fan base. I think they're sick and tired of having Mo come across as the smartest guy in the room, the guy that kind of just, he knows everything, and mistakes that are made aren't really admitted. I think this is where, I don't think he has to go to the extent of saying, I made a mistake, I blanked up, and, I'm sorry. But I do think there's got to be some humility shown for this Cardinals fan base to take a collective breath and say, okay, we'll give you a chance here to make up for it.
So at what point are you satisfied as a Cardinals fan?
Some fans aren't going to be satisfied, and I'm dead serious by this, until he's out.
That's what I'm saying, though. So, everybody wanting him to admit that he made a mistake. Okay, fine. But then how many times does he have to say it? How specific does he have to get?
Whenever these people want him to say it.
No, I'm being serious, Anthony.
So am I,
Just for
actually.
1 minute, please. God. Anyways. For 1 minute. Let's both try.
Okay.
But my point is one, I don't blame any of our listeners or the fan base for wanting to hear what went wrong. But Mo saying he's sorry, I'm really sorry for the mistakes I made. I don't think we're going to hear that.
I also don't think it's necessary. He didn't try to lose. He didn't try to have the Cardinals.
No.
He made decisions, and some of them have not worked out.
He's not going to say he's sorry. He's not going to be like, guys, I'm really sorry for screwing up the baseball season.
Yeah.
He's just not. He's going to say, look, there were decisions that were made that, in hindsight now, going back, maybe we could have made other decisions. That's him, by the way, saying he's sorry that he made a mistake. It's just hidden in the lingo. And you're going to have to watch this interview or listen to it, and you're going to have to find the hidden lingo. And within that hidden lingo will be your apology, will be your admission of wrongdoing or guilt or making mistakes, and whatever else you're looking for. It'll be hidden in there, but you're not going to get the billboard, I was wrong, I am sorry, I am quitting. You're not getting any of that stuff.
Right.
So I don't know, ultimately, I don't want everybody to be so disappointed and then be even more angry tomorrow.
Let's stop being entitled.
Oh, boy, Anthony.
Let's stop being entitled. Okay? Let's stop being entitled that we're owed. I'm
not getting involved in this one.
We are, though. We're entitled. Well, he owes us an apology.
Yourself.
He doesn't owe you an apology. Stop it. Wow. Let's not be entitled.
Wow, Anthony.
I'm a Cardinal fan, and they're in last place.
Now that's how they talk?
Some do. Some do.
Anthony, you should...
Mo owes us an apology.
You should tweet that on the old Twitter. See what people think.
Twitter was created by the devil, and you know that.
Wow. The same guy that created foosball?
Yep. Yes. Jamie, you're right. He's not going to come out and say, I quit, I'm wrong, all that stuff.
We had a great text from the 309 says, well, what if Mo comes out and says that he's sorry? Yeah, we feel that way.
I'd applaud it. I'd applaud it, and then I'd say he's been listening. He's been listening. All right, so we'll hear what Mo has to say. We'll dive into this in the next segment too. But I wanted to mention, so Bernie Michaelis, who writes for Scoops with Danny Mac, he had talked about in his latest column about DeWitt and the ownership group. And if you really want to be frustrated, don't just, and you and I have talked about this, Jamie, and I've used even the analogy of don't just point at Mo's press, but where he sits at Busch Stadium, point a little higher, because he's got a boss. And it goes back to what you and I have been talking about with, if there's a budget that he has to stay within and he has multiple needs to address in free agency, then it's a little difficult to go out and to put together a team that the fan base wants, some feel that they deserve.
That they're entitled to, some would say, Anthony?
And, accomplish multiple things in free agency. Now, if we're going to separate things, Jamie, here's what this is just me. Here's what I blame Mo for. I blame Mo for Dexter Fowler. I blame Mo for Mike Leake. I blame Mo for Brett Cecil. I blame Mo for, to this point, Steven Matz. Those signings, I blame Mo for. Because you could still, despite having a budget, you could still get it right. Novel concept. Like, you could still sign the right players within a budget constraint. I do not blame him for any other top free agent that you wanted, that you saw sign with another team, either because those players wanted to go to that organization or the Cardinals Mo did not have the flexible ability, contract-wise, to offer a big-time deal. I do not blame Mo for that. I blame ownership for that. Them not spending is not a Mo thing. It's a DeWitt's thing.
Total dollar amount, yes. Player selection with said dollar amount, that's on Mo.
Absolutely.
So it's a shared responsibility.
It is, certainly. And why Fred Bird is still around and not in Memphis, I think, is a shared responsibility as well.
I agree, Anthony.
We would have made that move weeks ago.
How many options does he have left, though?
I mean, it's ridiculous. He's got all of his options. He's never gone down to Memphis.
Yeah, he's refused to go down, but he does have the no movement clause that you gave him.
Oh, no.
Is he a team player? Is he a team player if he refuses to
I thought
do
he was.
that?
I don't know.
That's unfortunate.
Some would say that he wants to be here so bad that he's willing to enforce it. Like, it depends how you look at it, right?
I can't believe they gave him a contract extension.
They did. Oh, lifetime, too.
Well, they gave him that, and he also, you ask, is he a team player? I've seen the BT and Friends show that Fred Bird does with BT, and he makes BT do all of the heavy lifting.
It's crazy because he
makes him do everything.
Everything.
They named a whole group after Fred Bird. Team Fred Bird?
Yeah, Team Fred Bird.
Incredible.
He's got his dancers. He's got his people that they're out there entertaining the crowd. Team Fred Bird.
They do a good job.
They do a great job.
I think he created Team Fred Bird so he didn't have to work quite as hard anymore.
Agreed.
So now he gets all these great dancers and entertainers out there, and Fred Bird just, you look up, sometimes he's sitting next to John Mozeliak with his feet up.
Yeah. His feet up in the middle of a game.
They're yucking it away.
He's painting during the pandemic in the middle of the game, doing his thing, doing his best work.
Because Team Fred Bird couldn't be around.
Yeah. And then, or 2019, is that 2020?
Whatever.
And then,
tomato.
Nothing in 21, nothing in 22, and a horse bleep effort in 23 as well.
It's unacceptable.
Team Fred Bird. There's M and an E in Team Fred Bird. Says a lot.
It certainly does. Yeah. Biggest question of the day next on 101 ESPN.
Have you got a vision for a kitchen or bathroom upgrade, but you're not sure who to turn to? Well, I'm going to give you some great advice right now. Head over to E&B Granite for a no-obligation consultation. E&B Granite has proudly provided the St. Louis area with exceptional customer service and products for over 20 years. And they've also done a remodel at my house. Had the kitchen redone, brand new countertops, and it was fantastic. The experience was great. And the best part about it is when you head down to the warehouse, which, by the way, is located at 6135 Manchester Avenue, you walk in, you've got the showroom with so many options available to you just to get a look at what you could possibly do with your kitchen. The sales representative is going to come over and help you, and they're going to build that remodel with you, whether it's your kitchen or your bathroom. And then when it comes to the countertops, whether it's granite, quartz, marble, or soapstone, they have the slabs in the back of the warehouse. You can walk through the aisles and literally pick the countertop that you want. And from there, the process is awesome. They get in, they measure everything precisely. They remove all the old stuff without causing any damage. And then the installation is fantastic. And after that, they provide you with the aftercare for your countertops and everything that they've done. So please don't hesitate 1 second. If you're in the market for a kitchen or bathroom upgrade, call E&B Granite at 314-645-9300. That's 314-645-9300, or visit enbgranite.com.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Tonight is Major League Baseball's All-Star Game. Nolan Arenado will represent the Cardinals and be in the starting lineup. Zach Gallen will take the mound for the National League. And this is coming off a pretty entertaining home run derby as Vlad Guerrero Jr. defeated Randy Arozarena, 25-23. Vlad Guerrero Jr. joins his dad as the only father-son duo to win the title. Once again, the All-Star Game tonight. You can catch all of the action right here on 101 ESPN. Pre-game starts at 6 o'clock. We talked all day long about Cardinals baseball. Even talked with Matthew Tkachuk as well. If you missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com, or you can check out the 101 mobile app. You'll find the full show. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have our biggest question of the day coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center Update is brought to you by Seliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh, I'm Anthony Stalter. Time for the biggest question of the day.
Well, Anthony, the question of the day has been, what is it that you want Mo to say? We have a ton of mic drops that have filtered in, and we have Mike with what he believes he wants Mo to say tonight after the All-Star Game.
What I would like to hear Mo admit is that by firing every baseball person and replacing them with somebody who went to MIT or Stanford, is that baseball is more than a game of statistics and nerd watching. And the loss of Tony La Russa was the biggest mistake that he has ever made.
I don't know if the Tony La Russa leaving is necessarily on Mo, but do you agree with the first part of what Mike had to say about
getting rid of baseball people?
MIT people infiltrating Major League Baseball?
Let's just stick with the Cardinals here. Do you guys like the job that Randy Flores has done since taking over?
When did he take over?
He took over. And by the way, for those that don't know who Randy Flores is, most Cardinals fans do, but Randy Flores right now is the director of scouting for the Cardinals. So essentially, he's in charge of the drafts for the Cardinals. He took over in, 2015. He was hired as the new director of scouting to replace Chris Correa. Cardinals promoted him to assistant general manager after the 2018 season, after being called or credited for the MLB draft selections of Burleson and Jordan Walker. Cardinals signed Flores to a contract extension in 2022. So let's just say from 2018 on.
From 2018 on, I've been impressed, yes. I think that he's produced, maybe not him that he's produced, but his scouting staff.
He's overseen.
Him overseeing it, I am pleasantly surprised.
So 2018, when he was the scouting director, his first draft was Delvin Perez, Dylan Carlson, Dakota Hudson in that first round. Nick Plummer in 2015. Oh, this is going backwards. Excuse me. Sorry. So 2017. Anyways, you got Walker. You got Nolan Gorman. You get the point. If you just cite certain people that if you don't like Mo and you think he's done a terrible job and he got rid of all the good baseball people, then you don't like Randy Flores either. We can't pick and choose the ones that we don't like and then just kind of gloss over the fact that Randy Flores has done a great job when it comes to the Cardinals drafting. Since in his time. I'm not saying there hasn't been missteps. Like Delvin Perez hasn't worked out. We're still waiting on Dylan Carlson. Dakota Hudson probably just going to be a big league reliever at this point. But Walker, Gorman, Mason Wynn, I believe Brendan Donovan was somewhere within the last few drafts. You can't say that Mo got rid of all good baseball people and overlook the fact that Randy Flores has done a great job.
Well,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But what also makes sense is you had to promote Randy Flores to assistant GM because other teams were sniffing around.
Absolutely.
Other teams thought highly enough of Randy Flores and the job that he does that they were starting to ask for permission to talk to him. But the Cardinals had to say, hey, listen, we're going to promote you on the grounds that you're staying here. And Randy Flores has stayed with the team. And so we'll see how this works out. This was a big draft this year. Knowing that your team is in trouble right now, I'm anxious to see, what they picked up this year. And I think the draft is one thing. I think the developing of the players is a whole other ball of wax here.
That's what I was thinking, too.
Randy Flores' job is to get the players here. And then once they're here, it's up to the coaching staff at all levels to develop these players. So maybe you have to start looking at that, too.
And a lot of the players have a lot of success in AAA, but for some reason, it never seems to translate to that superstar type player at the major league level, like with Dylan Carlson. Dylan Carlson, he's a solid player. For what they hyped him up to be, he has not met expectations.
No, you're right.
He hasn't.
He's 24. He's 2 years away from being in his prime, so it doesn't look promising right now. You're right. I will say this, though. Arenado, Goldie, Contreras, those are the only non-homegrown players that you have in your everyday lineup, correct? Carlson was drafted here. Walker was drafted here. Brendan Donovan was drafted here. Tommy Edman was drafted here. Paul DeYoung, obviously he's had his struggles. At least you're getting something out of him now. Homegrown player. Gorman, homegrown player. Who am I missing? Is that it?
Burleson when he's in the lineup.
Burleson when he's in the lineup, homegrown.
Kisner.
You can't tell. I realize that none of them are Acuna. I realize that none of them are J-Rod. I realize they're major league players. Yeah. It hasn't been a total disaster. I also think that when people bring up Dave Dombrowski and the great job that he has done, you're overlooking the fact that it's easier to sign guys because you blanked up in the draft. It's easier, if your owner allows it, for you to throw a bunch of money at Schwarber, throw a bunch of money at Harper and Trey Turner and Nicholas Castellanos and Zach Wheeler. It's easier to do that than it is to draft. Now, they got some good hope and home. JT Realmuto is another guy that they signed or traded for and then signed. Mo, going back to full circle, what do we want to hear Mo say tonight to Marty Kilcoyne?
My job.
I want him to say that we haven't been aggressive enough.
Yeah.
I think that is the biggest misstep. Are you going to be aggressive, or are you going to sit on your hands and waste a golden opportunity that unfortunately has fell into your lap because you stink this year? But the golden opportunity is you have assets that you can trade in a seller's market. I listed the teams off earlier. You have more interesting players, 2 contenders, because the Rockies, the Nationals, the A's, the Royals, and the Tigers are the other obvious sellers. You and the White Sox, that's it. And you can still hold on to Arenado and Goldschmidt and some of these other guys that you can build around, Walker and all, and still get something in return. You can retool quickly here, but you have to take advantage of the opportunities. Mo, I think his biggest fault is not the analytics movement and all that we just love to throw crap at the wall and say, oh, it's analytics. His biggest issue is he hasn't been aggressive. And I think he's got a good opportunity to be aggressive. And for God's sakes, how about you fleece somebody again? He used to pick Boston's pocket every offseason or at the trade deadline. I can't remember the last time he fleeced somebody besides the Rockies, who, as we've mentioned before,
I don't count that.
I don't count that either.
I'm sorry, you have to. You have to.
Though?
I don't count it as a fleecing.
No.
Because the Rockies GM was hammered.
But I'm sorry.
He was hammered.
You still have to give Mo credit for getting the damn thing done.
That's true, because 28 other teams didn't get it done either.
Well,
obviously I'm not including
Nolan Arenado wasn't saying that he wanted to go to 28 other teams. He was literally saying he wanted to be a Cardinal.
I understand that, but Mo still had to put together a deal to get it done, and the Rockies didn't have to trade him to the Cardinals. They didn't. So, whatever. Give him a half a point for that one, at least.
Fair enough.
We do get a good text here.
I want to be aggressive.
We get a good comment on the YouTube channel from Connor. Connor says, I think people forget that Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan were huge into analytics. Duncan had binders full of statistical information about every batter in baseball.
Thank you.
He did.
No, I've been hearing about how, people, the same people that hate analytics will cite the knowledge that Dave Duncan provided his pitchers.
Well, or they'll cite Tony La Russa,
or
where
they'll
Tony
cite
La Russa was
Tony.
getting the information from his coaches.
Hell, Whitey Herzog was doing that stuff too.
Dave Duncan, the binders that the texter's bringing up, that's analytics. Knowing when a batter is not going to swing on an 0-2 changeup is analytics.
I wonder if fans are...
I agree, Anthony.
I wonder if fans are mad that... Like, do you think
Oh, no, here we go, Andrew.
Jeez.
Throwing chairs again.
Do you think there's a difference between using analytics to help your team compared to building a team through analytics?
I think Marsh
and having and constructing a lineup using analytics. Is there a difference?
I think that yes, there is a difference. I think we blame analytics for everything. It's the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
You cannot tell me that when Jordan Walker is not in the lineup and everybody goes crazy and they want to blame analytics. Well, what they don't like the analytics? No, he's got a stomach bug.
Like this past weekend when not everyone, but a lot of people on Twitter were freaking out as to why Wilson Contreras wasn't playing. Well, he had a dental procedure.
Right. That would be the other half of it, knowing your players, managing your players. I also think that when we say analytics, they're telling them what to do. No, the numbers are provided to them, and they make a decision partly based on those numbers. I mean, if think about it this way, if you had a big test, you're a student, you had a big test, and they say, hey, 70% of these questions are going to be the answer B. Would you not use that?
Well, of course I would. And, Jamie usually provides us the answers to the test. So
it's up to you to use them, Andrew.
Exactly.
Or would you say 30? Well, 30% of the time it wouldn't be B. So I'm not going to use them. What are we doing?
Why do you go to that voice?
I love it. I don't know.
I don't know either, but I love it too.
Mo's got to go. It frustrates me.
It's okay, Anthony. You're doing a great job. The analytics tell me you're doing a pretty good job.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The numbers bear it out.
The numbers are all around us, Jamie.
LaRussa or Ollie Marmol? Who do you want? Lisa asks. Which manager do you want? I guess.
In terms of his entire career, I'll take Tony LaRussa.
Well, who wouldn't?
What about Tony from last year?
Whitey and Tony used graphs and charts. Analytics.
Thank you.
Text line is getting it. They understand what you're saying.
Should we rename it like statistics?
I'm beating the dead horse.
Are those different?
We should.
Numbers.
Yes. You know what? All we have to do is say old school baseball.
Yeah.
Let's just rename it old school baseball, and it'll make everybody happy. That's all we care about.
Old school scouting.
Old school scouting. That's right. Using numbers.
And analytics.
Exactly. Last question for you guys. Bill Walsh or Jeff Fisher? Who'd you want? What you missed? Criticism, compliments next on 101 ESPN.
Jeff Fisher.
Attention homeowners. Mosby Building Arts is running a limited time window and door sale. Purchase now and make no payments until 2025 or take 5% off. This deal ends July 31st. Call 314-909-1800 or visit callmosby.com today.
When you feel like you don't have the energy or the drive to keep up with your kids after work, or maybe you're just tired throughout the day, the motivation is lacking, odds are that you are suffering from low testosterone, fellas. That's right. It happens, and it doesn't matter what age you are either. Low testosterone is real. The best way to fix it, by the way, head into Mentality. They've got the South County location, the West County location. I go to both. Today I was at the South County location and took care of business there. But what they do is the board-certified physician sits down with you and asks you questions and goes over everything that you're looking to accomplish. Then they try to provide you with some answers, and then they do a blood panel. And the blood panel doesn't lie. It's going to give you an accurate detail of exactly what's going on inside of your body. and then they can put together a custom program for you. And for me, I was low in testosterone and other vitamins, and so my program is set up specifically for me. And by the way, it's covered by most insurance companies. So don't hesitate. Get in there to either location, and when you do get in there, tell them that Jamie Rivers sent you in. They're going to take great care of you, but you are not going to be sorry. Get in there, feel better today, get something going at Mentality, or visit them at lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com. That's Mentality.
Stalter back with you for Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum. Throughout the month of July, you're not going to find a better dealership experience than at Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum. Over 700 cars in stock in one location, not multiple locations across town. They've got options for everyone to choose from. Brand new Nissans, quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. You got to go visit my friends at Auto Centers Nissan. Go home in your new car and do it today. Here's the best part. They have a 30-day return promise. So 30 days from purchase, whatever reason you need to bring the vehicle back, they're going to give you a full refund at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. They're also going to give you a way to finance the vehicle, too. Good credit, bad credit, it doesn't matter. They have financing options for you at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. So go check them out. New Pathfinders, new Rogues, new Altimas, new Titans. You're going to love it at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. And don't forget to tell them Anthony Stalter sent you. Again, Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. If you missed anything on today's show, make sure you download the podcast, 101ESPN.com, or on your 101 ESPN mobile app. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Talked a lot of Cardinals again today. Talked about Mo, and we're going to see. We're going to see what Mo says to Martin Kilcoyne tonight in an exclusive interview after the All-Star game on Fox 2. We talked about what you would like to hear Mo say. What do you want to hear from him? Talk to you what we wanted to hear from him. So we'll have a lot to say, I'm sure, tomorrow on that. Talk to Matthew Tkachuk, if you missed that interview with St. Louis's own and Panthers star Matthew Tkachuk. Again, that's available at the podcast. Does the blame start at the top for the Cardinals? Also had that discussion and had a lot of fun as well. Entertaining Gauntlet against Steve. So good stuff all the way around.
Yep.
All right, Marsh, criticisms or compliments?
Yeah, real quick here. From the 618, should Stalter lose a point in the Gauntlet for calling Felix Hernandez K-Rod?
I thought that. When you were asking, remember when I asked you to repeat that last question?
Yeah.
I was thinking, did I just call him K-Rod?
You did, but you did say his name, though. And here's the thing. If you just said K-Rod, final answer, that's wrong.
Yeah.
You said K-Rod, Hernandez following it up, and then you went final answer. So
it's King Felix.
We have to go with what you declare as your final answer.
Right. No,
So-
it's a good call. I should have lost on that.
It's right here.
In the
in the
bylaws.
Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to go back and watch on YouTube just to see my expression as you were asking that final question, because I'm like, did I just call him? Like, no, I said King Felix. No, you're right, Texter. My bad.
Last one here from the 314, Mo, who we've talked about all day long. He gets a criticism and or compliment. Mo uses Chat GPT AI to construct his roster.
Oh, my goodness.
That'd
That's
be
a
pretty
thing
funny.
now.
That would be pretty funny. All right, we have the MLB All-Star Game for you tonight. You can watch former Cardinals farmhand Zach Gallen start for the National League
And
team.
like 4 other Cardinals guys.
And Randy Rosarina and Adolis Garcia. Yeah, they're all there.
And an actual Cardinal.
And an actual Cardinal.
Nolan Arenado.
Go Nolan Arenado. Absolutely. So you can listen to the MLB All-Star Game starting with the pregame in about 4 minutes. For Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. We appreciate you listening and watching today. We'll be back tomorrow at 2. See ya.